All right, everybody, welcome. We are live on Tuesday, February 6th, 2024 at 7:27 a.m. Eastern. We are 3 minutes early today. Feeling very good about that. Let me do a quick check. Yes, it looks like we're coming across loud and clear. Fantastic. The good times continue here. Yesterday had a good day, stayed out of trouble. Ended up making a little bit of money on one of the challenge accounts later on in the afternoon. So steady as she goes. That's the way that we like to play it. Hey, Steve, good morning. Steve had a good day yesterday, taking advantage of the call to short platinum. Did you take any other good trades, Steve? I ended up making a little money on the NASDAQ toward the middle of the afternoon. But quite frankly, right now, my personal trading is down to a very low amount because I'm so sick with COVID. But needless to say, the stream, is continuing to move forward. Great analysis every day. And our goal right now is just to get consistent with the streaming and figure out how best to exploit these challenges while I try and recover from this darn COVID. I am feeling maybe a little bit better today, but I am jacked up on an enormous amount of coffee. I got to have an enormous amount of coffee just to kind of get up to base level. Steve said he made a little bit on NQ, but nothing else. Yeah. And that was after your platinum trade. So it's fantastic, my friend. Question about the challenge, Steve. I know you have a month to do it, and then if you pass, you pass. But if you're still in the middle, let's say you're halfway to the target, when they take the fee again for the next month, does it reset your account balance, or do you keep working with the account balance you have? Or is it the kind of thing where you should be aggressive heading into the next time they're going to take the money because you can get a fresh account balance? How do you play that? I don't really understand how that works. I haven't spent too much time researching that aspect. I think we're going to get over these. Oh, you keep your balance. Okay, good. Unless you blow out. So if you're sitting at zero because you've blown out and you're waiting, then it'll give you a new try when they take the new amount for the next month, right? I think that's how it works. Okay, cool. So the reason I asked that is because I think it's really important to, I've been kind of thinking, what's the best way to take these challenges? I think the best way to do it for most people, which is what, okay, cool, it's correct, which is what I'm, thinking about now. And I'm still toying with how to play these. Like right now on the challenges I'm doing, one of the accounts is at 1,800, another one's at about 900, 800, another one's at 1,000, another one's at 600 in profit, and then the rest are still where they started. But I have racked up the trading days, which is good because you need 7 days to pass, right? So, for me, I would expect to be through these challenges usually in about a week, but because of COVID last week and still right now COVID, it's kind of delaying my progress, but that's fine. The best way I think to handle these is you link up all 10 accounts and you just trade them. You can be real aggressive. I'm still toying with that model, but I think the best way to do it is to link them up, because if you go aggressive, you got to do it, you can link up aggressive accounts, but then that's that's super aggressive. But if you link them up and just trade, when you have an edge like Owings market analysis and just let the good trades come and put them on normal size when they do come, you should generally speaking be able to get over the profit goal, within a couple of weeks typically. And then when you go to the funded accounts, if you've got 10 funded accounts and you get, 10 payouts of $2,000 each, that's 20K. Doing the math, you get about a little better than a 10 to 1, maybe 11, 12 to 1 reward for your risk on that if you can bring 10 accounts to pay out for $2,000 each for 20K. So anyways, I'm playing with the numbers for the challenge and how best to exploit that. It's kind of fun. It's a nice project. While we've got COVID, I wouldn't really be trading my own account right now anyways because I don't trade when I'm feeling horrible, but the challenges are fun. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the analysis for today. It's been interesting because bonds have been dropping, metals have been dropping as rates are increasing. The dollar's been getting stronger against the euro, and stocks have just been, an absolute mess, which, is why we've kind of avoided them for the most part. I've been talking about the fact that stocks are going to be choppy up here, and that's what's going on. And I'm following a lot of other YouTube channels they're not doing too well during this period because they're getting chopped up, obviously, because you can see the price action is not favorable. So that's what's good about our ability to identify when the price action is going to be choppy and stay out of it and focus on the markets that are more lower hanging fruit. So with that said, that'll continue to be our focus today. Let's see what we got in store for today. Things are changing every single day. Here's ES. You see, the problem with ES right now is thinking about this is that here's the weekly chart, right? Because we're going to start, guys, with the monthly chart to the left, the weekly in the middle, and the daily to the far right. And then we're going to go back to the hourly charts during the stream. Me trying to follow 10, 15 markets on volume charts, it was too much. So the hourly charts are fine for the streaming. Still figuring out how to maximize my own trading while I stream for you guys. Obviously, you know, I need to be able to do that. So we'll just play around with the format here as we continue to get settled. Steve, how's the mic check and video? Is everything coming across clearly? Should be, but let me know. Thanks. All right, so the problem with ES here is look at the monthly, guys. You've got the monthly pushing up for now, but you've got a lot of resistance this week with OMA coming in here. So you've got opposing forces between the monthly and the weekly charts. What happens when you have opposing forces? Well, you have downward energy pushing from the weekly, monthly energy pushing up from the monthly. What do you get? You get an absolute mess, right? So I can see that on the weekly and the monthly charts, which is why I'm exercising a lot of caution right now on the indices. So for today, what are we going to do on the indices? Exercise caution, because we still have these opposing energetic forces between the monthly and the weekly, right? So if anything starts to happen today, and if the indices want to start really blasting one way or the other, fine, we'll jump on board. But to begin with, let's just let it work itself out. It's this is trappy trading in here. You don't want to get involved with this trappy trading if you can help it. So for the indices today, guys, continue to exercise caution. That is serving us well, focusing on better markets. So ES, let's just wait for this to resolve. If it gets going today, we'll take advantage of it, but we've got better markets to focus on. Let's just quickly look at the NASDAQ. Again, guys, we're just laying the foundation here heading into the day, because this is how we have such a consistent track record. Our goal is to make money, but to do so by managing our risk as effectively as possible. Any channel can come out here on YouTube and make $3,000 on a challenge one day and then lose 4,000 the next and make that's not hard. If you put a monkey in front of a keyboard and teach him to click the buttons, he could do that. We're trying to generate returns while keeping our risk very low, because I actually trade for a living, and that's what I need to do in order to keep myself afloat and keep myself in the game. So that's why, if you wonder why I'm so selective on the streams, it's because I'm selective in my trading, because that's what's served me well all these years. So just keep that in mind. That's why we're waiting for the really good opportunities. And right now on the NASDAQ, you can see the same thing. See the monthly pushing higher, very bullish on the monthly. See the weekly, we're starting to move inside the envelope here. We've got some downward pressure on the weekly. So we have opposing forces between the monthly and the weekly. What does that mean? Just like ES and Q has monthly energy pushing up, weekly energy pushing down, you get these opposing forces, you get a lot of wacky moves. And go look at the 15-minute NQ chart. If you don't believe me, you'll see a lot more 50, 100-point moves in 5, 10, 15 minutes than normal. You're going up, you're going up, you're going up, and then you snap down 50 points. Even for the NASDAQ, that's pretty wild and crazy. So we're doing good by avoiding these indices. And again, using Owings market analysis to know what markets not to trade is just as important as knowing which markets to focus on. Super, super important. All right, let's go into the Dow. Now, the Dow ended up entering congestion down yesterday on the daily. So the Dow is responding to this weekly energy that we talked about at the start of the week. I said I expected a lot of resistance here. It's because of all the different things I'm seeing with OMA. So the Dow has responded to that. The question now is, there's still a lot of support here on the Dow. You look at the monthly, you're still very bullish on the monthly. You're starting to try to correct on the weekly. So I would expect probably the daily to continue to stay in congestion here in this range on the Dow. That's kind of what I'd be expecting, but it's still going to be a mess on the indices. So we got to be careful. And we're going to keep a very close eye on rates, because right now they're really diverging, rates and indices. And, reality is going to come crashing back down soon. And when it does, it's probably going to be stocks catching down to bonds. And that's what I'm waiting for. Guys, I can go several days without, like, okay, on a day like yesterday, make 600 here, make 800 on these quiet days. On the days when you're in sync, you're in the flow, you're reading it, and things are firing, those are the days you make your money. Winning in trading is asymmetrical. If you go ask any of the major market wizards over the last, 30 years, including my mentor, he would wait sometimes a year. He would stalk a trade literally for a year until it's set up perfectly for what he was waiting for. And then he would go fucking huge into that trade and make, millions and millions and millions on that one trade. And that's what, the huge trader, I don't do that, guys. I don't have millions and millions and millions, but hopefully one day I will. But that's what the best traders do, is they take, asymmetrical risk. They go for it when they know the opportunity is ripe. And that's what I'm trying to teach you guys, because that's the way I like to trade, albeit on a smaller size, obviously, compared to my mentor. But still the same type of methodology, the same idea, waiting for those cream of the crop setups. There's no doubt, those feel the best. Those are the ones you go in on. And I'm looking at the charts here, but I'm talking to you guys. I know you guys are up there. The webcam's up there, but I can't constantly do this. All right. So there's the Dow. We're going to exercise caution. Let's look at the Russell. All right. You see the Russell's already leading us to the downside. No surprise. But still, the Russell, it's kind of a pain in the ass to trade, to be honest with you. It's just so choppy. Yesterday after the stream, actually, Steve can attest to this, I posted in the members area, I took a stab at a short on the Russell, and it started dropping. I was correct initially, and I said, I'm moving my stop to break even, because these indices right now, you just don't know what they're going to do. So got taken out at break even on that one. And then another ES short, I nailed the interim high. I can't remember the level. It was like 49. What was the level, Steve, where we shorted ES in the elite section? It was like 49. Sorry, I'm looking at the Russell. Yeah, I'm looking at the ES. It was like 49.55 or something. I can't really remember. And I was up like 5 points on that position. And then I thought, I'm moving it to break even. And then it went back. So on the indices right now, just, be very, very careful. And then I made the 600 later on the NASDAQ. Just as they started to squeeze higher, I was like, okay, well, I guess the NASDAQ's going up again. Might as well make some money. But be careful on the indices. I'm talking about that too, because the Russell right now, it's just, it's heading down, but it's not like, we're not getting like crazy nice pops into resistance that are making for great shorts. So Russell probably going to avoid today, but we'll keep an eye on it. So summary, guys, indices today, be careful, exercise caution. Believe me, once the party gets started to the downside, which it's going to, most likely based on what we have with rates right now in the US dollar, there's going to be some amazing, it works in seasons, right? The seasons for trading the indices, it's coming, it's on its way, but we can wait for that season to arrive. Right now, the season is more on metals, bonds, markets like that. So that's what we're going to focus on. So let's look at the 10-year. And you just get a lot cleaner price action in the bonds and the metals. I've actually sometimes thought about, should I just trade bonds and metals, because they're just so much, they're just price action wise a lot better to trade. But I like the indices sometimes too, and they kind of all work together as a whole. Like I said, there is a season for the indices, so we'll trade them all. And we will introduce the agriculturals once planting season comes and I'm more in the flow of live streaming trading. So here's the 10-year treasury, you guys. I do expect this to continue to head lower. Any pops need to be shorted. So we just want to wait for any type of rally to get short. Definitely avoid the long side on bonds right now. And what we can see in the charts, we do have some temporary OMA support down here. I certainly wouldn't buy it, not based on what we're seeing over here, but I'm hoping this temporary support can at least cause a bounce intraday that we can get short into, because that's really just what we're waiting for. And even though we've been correct on the direction so far for bonds, I haven't taken a good chunk out of this yet. Number one, because I'm sick, and number two, the market's just kind of been just grinding lower without any kind of upward volatility to get short into. Normally you'll have upward volatility to get short into. So we just got to stay patient. Let's look at the 30-year bonds. Yeah, the 30 years, you can see, you see guys, you've got some support here. You see that dot, but you broke key support yesterday. So it's going to be choppy, but with downward pressure. Why? Because the weekly chart here is in the process of congestion cycling. So what does that mean? Down, up, what comes next? Back down, right? So where are we headed? Well, we're headed probably back down to these lows, and we're probably headed to the OMA extension level down here because the 10-year treasury has already gotten to its extension. So I would imagine the 30-year and the ultra bond are on the way. So the train has left the station. We're heading south for the winter for bonds. Rates are going to continue to push higher. That's why I think stocks can fight this all they want. But as stocks are fighting, all the retail, investors, mom and pops are coming in now because all their brokers told them to buy because we're going to the moon because of AI and stuff like that. Well, all that fresh money is holding up, but big money's selling. Rates are rising. It's just this battle on the indices, right? And that's why I don't see indices taking off to the upside. I think we're at the end of the move we've seen because of what we're seeing in rates here. Just a massive increase in rates, right? That's weighing on the indices. And people out there who don't understand the relationship between stocks, bonds, the dollar, they're confused why stocks have just stopped at this level. They've stopped because you've had a catastrophic rise in the 10-year yield in a 2-day period. In fact, I was looking at my zero hedge premium account and they were showing outlier moves. And the 10-year yield, this was a super outlier move, the increase in the 10-year yield over the last few trading sessions. So obviously that's going to have an effect on the VIX, which is going to roll over to putting pressure on the indices. But the indices are still, let's just wait for them to break down. Bonds are where it's at. So for bonds today, where would I want to get short? Probably up into the middle of the moving average envelope here on the weekly, 121 even for the 30-year. You can see that's coming across right at the near high. Here, the red line. Now, anywhere up into the 121 level or higher for the 30-year. Steve, you can take a note of that if you want. I think if we get a bounce up there. See, it's a little dangerous just to short right here because I just, I got to look at where's resistance. Well, sure, there's a little bit of resistance here, but there's a lot more here. Anyways, that's my thought on the 30-year. Let's look at the ultra bond. Ultra bond coming up. The ultra bond's going to be the same. Just looking to get short up into 127, anywhere up there, so we'll keep an eye on the ultra bond. Let's look at gold. Now, gold is also going to be suffering because of these higher rates. So see how gold, the weekly chart here, we're still near the top of the weekly envelope. We're probably headed back down here. So we still, down to 2,000. That's a $40 drop from here. So all we have to do is be patient and wait for gold to set up a nice, pop into resistance. I'm definitely interested in shorting gold, especially if the dollar stays strong. Right now, we got the dollar sitting at 1.0750 against the euro futures, which is great. Strong dollar, rising rates. This is a perfect environment for shorting bonds, shorting metals, and staying the F away from indices for the time being. I'm talking for these, the high quality trades we're putting on the live stream. Like I say stay away from indices, but like yesterday afternoon, I see the NASDAQ is just pushing higher. Like, fine, I'll go ahead and just take a little bit of money out of that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these super high quality trades we're focusing on here. So gold, we'll wait for a short, a pop to get short. Silver, I think silver's headed down to 2180 this week at least. So any pop on silver needs to be shorted. So we just keep an eye on that. It's going to be a lot easier to follow today with the hourly chart only, the volume chart. Volume charts are great, guys. If you focus on one market, my God, you get way better reads on the volume charts. But for live streaming, the hourly is just a lot easier to follow for all these markets. Let's look at so silver, really any pop at all. I don't really have a level there. 2260 maybe. Copper, you have a similar, you got a lot of resistance now on copper up into 3.8, 3.81. So copper we can look to short. Look at platinum. Jesus, I just held my coffee for like 10 minutes and didn't even take a sip until the end. I'm standing here and I get so focused on the charts. Platinum, same thing, anything up into 9, 10 here. And we called this yesterday. This is where Steve took advantage of this, guy. So this is why it's so important. I'm here to guide you and go over always market analysis. And, I trade it with my own money. And, but when you learn how to do it yourself, or at least you start to understand what I'm talking about, like Steve does, he's able to take my analysis and then he's also able to understand what I'm talking about. So yesterday, for example, I didn't make money shorting platinum up here at 910, but he did because he saw a good opportunity and he took it, right? I was too busy going over these charts and crying about COVID, but Steve made a great trade on platinum. So for today, I think there's going to be similar opportunities to get short platinum up into resistance if it pops. So Steve, good job on that. And guys, for anybody I get questions on how do all these dots and stuff work for Owings Market Knowledge, just go to the website, owingstrading.com, and just, you can get the first 7 lessons of the entire 25 lesson course, it's a fucking awesome course. You can get the first 7 lessons for free, and it'll start to give you a little bit of an idea of what some of this stuff means. So that's a really good point to start at if you're interested in how I use, this analysis. So here's, because I had a question on that yesterday, and I did my best to answer it, but the easiest thing is, how does this work? Well, there's a really amazing course that goes over everything. So crude oil here, crude is still a mess. We've got conflicting forces between the monthly chart, the weekly chart, and the daily chart. But I think today, I think it's advisable to just exercise extreme caution on crude. I'm not seeing anything. Again, crude will have its season, right? We will have periods of time where it's like everything else looks horrible, but crude looks amazing. Right now, bonds and metals look amazing. So we just focus on shorting those. Let's look at natural gas, just because it's good to know what natural gas is up to. Also, look at natural gas here. Is it just a mess? Don't see anything I particularly want to do. All right, let's look at the euro here. This is really important, gauging the US dollar strength to see. Yeah, this is fantastic, guys. So right now, this is the euro daily chart futures. Any rallies up into 108 during the day should be sold into. So the dollar should continue to maintain its strength here against the euro, which means that should continue to exert downward pressure on metals. I think, short bonds, short metals, again, just focusing on where do we get the lowest hanging fruit? How do we manage our risk? Equities are a good place to, lose money this week, unless you're a very skilled, volatility scalper, which most people are not. Just stay away from equities for now until they start breaking. Once they start breaking to the downside, guys, we're going to short the you-know-what out of them. Just let it happen first. Okay, so that's the foundation for the upcoming day. Now, the way I've got this set up again here, we're just going back to nice and easy. It's the hourly chart here and the daily chart here. So everything we just talked about, we're just now waiting for the hourly chart to confirm what we want to, for example, we want to go short bonds. Okay, let's just let the hourly chart give us a nice confirmation OMA pattern into our key resistance levels on the daily chart, and then we get short. The same for silver, gold, copper, platinum, right? So this is very simple, really easy for me to stream this way and just keep an eye on the hourly charts. We do our checks every hour. We'll still do our opening stock market trade. Even today, we can pick off a good level. We'll do our trades at the opening. When there's major news coming out, we'll do our trades. This is just the easiest way for me to run the stream right now for the hourlies. So with that said, we got 9 minutes until 8 a.m. Let's see if there's something good to go short. So ES here, what do we say? Indices we're not even going to bother with until they really start to move one way or the other out of this range. So yeah, if ES starts to squeeze, up and through 49.80 and continue higher, which is highly unlikely today, guys. If rates continue to be elevated like they are and the dollar continues to be strong, rallies should be viewed as an opportunity to short on the indices. So if anything, if we start pushing higher and get out of this range, I'll be looking to probably short it for mean reversion back into the range. But either way, I'm going to wait to play with indices until they get outside the range, and give some opportunity. Right now, you've got this sort of, what do the other technicians call this? A triangle pattern. For Owings market analysis, we're moving inside the envelope here. We've got some inside bars, and we've got conflicting forces between a bullish monthly and a bearish weekly chart, which is why you're seeing confusion here. So we will look to play mean reversion strategies, but we want to get, outside of yesterday's high and low before we do that. So let's look at the 10-year for 8 a.m. All right, let's look here. So 10 years trending down on the hourly. You guys can see these are the, don't be too confused about all these dots and things. They're really actually extremely easy and you know, make a lot of sense when you learn to understand what they are and why they're there. But this is the daily. You see this yellow dot? That's nothing but that dot right there in the daily being put on our hourly chart. Okay, so when you see these ones coming across like this, so here's the true average from the daily, which is there being transposed here, right? So that's kind of the first area I'd be willing to maybe get short treasuries. So if we popped up here, I would be willing to get short. Right now we're kind of in no man's land because you see how daily support is here and my first line of resistance is here. So I don't want to get short or long, definitely not long because we're not going to get long treasuries today, but I don't want to get short in the middle of that zone, right? Does that make sense? So let's look at the 30-year because maybe the 30-year is closer towards its resistance. So here you can see the 30-year, same thing, we're right at this temporary daily support, right? Don't want to get long because weekly is very bearish, daily's bearish. So rule number one, you know, don't talk about Fight Club. Rule number two, don't go against the weekly and the daily energy, right? Super important. Fight Club is a good movie. You guys should see that. And in all seriousness, Warren Buffett, right? What does he say? Rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, look at rule number one. So that's the way I like to conduct my trading. So right now on bonds, I'm just waiting for a pop. You know, we're kind of trending down. We're in support. So we'll wait on bonds on the 30-year anyways. Let's look at the ultra bonds. We might have something great over in the metals right now. We just got to wait for it. So same with the ultra bonds. Just kind of waiting, you know, for a little bit of a pop. Look at gold. Because pops are going to be sold into today. All right, so here's gold. Definitely interested in shorting gold, maybe a little higher up into, you know, 2050. So if we could see a little bit of a counter trend rally here on the hourly chart, you know, get a kind of an exhaust up like that, that would be an area where I'm willing to short gold for what I think should be the resumption back down. So you can see here, especially up here, guys, see the daily near high, the red line here, and the daily of the middle moving average envelope. You see how they're stacked together right there? That's a very nice Owings market analysis resistance level. Everybody else has their pivots and all that stuff, candlesticks, knock yourself out. These are really, really powerful levels here. And we just wait for gold to get up into that zone somewhere, the low 2050s, the higher the better, and then we get short, right? And you just never know what's going to happen. Sometimes, you know, if you just patiently wait and you pick your zone, you know the direction, right? We know the direction. We want to focus on the short side because of our higher time period analysis. We know the zone. Now you just let the hourly chart come to you, right? I'm talking like an Italian. You're using the hands. So that's really important. Just let the market come to you, okay? Let's look at silver. So silver, kind of like this. It's just, you know, I can't stand here all day, obviously, but this is the kind of stuff we're looking for. You see how during, just before, this is like late Asia, pre-London here, that's the pop. Those are the things you're waiting for. You short. So here in New York, you know, let's see if we can't get a little bit of a pop on silver and try and get an opportunity to get short up in here somewhere. You got the game plan for the day, you guys. So just stick to the game plan and you'll be in good shape. Number one, you'd be a lot less likely to lose money, or at least, you know, just get killed. And number two, you're more likely to just, you know, take high quality setups where you have steady equity gains. That's really what it's all about. All right, so here's copper just sitting down here. I can't do anything with copper down here. It needs to bounce a little bit. Look at platinum. Same with platinum. It needs to bounce. It's not. So really, there's nothing I want to take at 8 a.m. The question is, you know, like the bonds, right? They're sitting at the support here. So hopefully that support will hold and, you know, be the catalyst to spike us up and get short. So, well, if there's a chance we're going to spike, why don't we just buy bonds here? No, that would be like a cardinal sin to buy bonds against this weekly energy to the downside and the daily energy to the downside. I would rather just hope that it pops and gives me the opportunity that I'm waiting for to get short, right? That's what I'm looking for. And look at the volume here, guys, on the daily. See that? that means that this is weak down here. Sometimes if you get a slam down and you get big volume, then you'll have an opportunity for, you know, a more sizable reversal that then maybe you could consider a long. But definitely not against the higher time period energy, and definitely not against this volume profile here, or, you know, the volume histogram. That's important. All right, so let's go ahead and field some questions. Any questions, Steve? What do you like for today, Steve? Guys, we're just gonna continue to be patient, do our thing, wait for the good setups, and just you know, keep it simple and keep doing what we do best, which is making money. So like that's just the focus of the stream, is as entertaining as I would like it to be for people. First and foremost, we're focused on success. All right. Steve, you let me know if we've got any questions, or anybody else. Let's see. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Can't really remember. Fine. I'm very, very tired today. Have you guys heard anybody else having COVID? I've heard of some people kind of having what I'm having, which is like no fever or anything like that, but just completely exhausted. Apparently the new strain is just, I don't know, making a lot of people like me really, really tired when you get it. It'd be nice to not be super exhausted from the COVID. All right, so here's 8 a.m. Let's go ahead and check in on ES here. Yeah, just a good place to get chewed up and spit out. See, because you just want to pick. You want to pick, if you want to get short, you kind of want to do it obviously in the direction that you think the daily's heading, based on the daily, the weekly, the monthly, and you also want to try and get short in daily resistance, right? Where people get trouble is they start shorting into support, and they do that because they don't know where support is. But when you know where support is, then you want to do your best to not go short right into a support floor. That's important. ZN looks active. Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever pops, exactly. That's the official game plan for today. Me and Steve will patiently wait to short whatever pops, and at the end of the day, we'll look back on the day and go, oh, we made money again. That's good. But we will try and get some flamingo dancers for the stream. So it could be like Las Vegas, you know, can have a little fun while we're waiting for our hourly checks. I'll do stand-up comedy once my COVID is done and I'm feeling better. I'm all for a little bit of entertainment, but we got to keep the trading. We can't use the trading for the entertainment. How about that, you guys, right? Trading, you got to plan out, wait for the setups, but we can have some other fun and entertaining things on the stream. As soon as I was going to do a bunch of giveaways, which I plan on doing, you know, I'll give away some challenges and stuff like that. But I came down with the COVID, you know, so I don't really have. I want to make it like fun and exciting. I want to have, while I'm giving you guys my money, I want to at least have fun with it. And right now I'm just too tired, so all the little fun celebrations I have planned for the channel are just waiting until I feel better. Yeah, the 10-year here. I mean, I'd really love to see it pop up here, which is possible. We've had a pretty big drop right now. You know, this is a historic drop. So I can probably show you guys that chart. Let me show you that chart that I'm talking about. I don't think Zero Hedge will get mad at a chart here and there from the premium section. Let me show you guys. Let me give you guys, I'll show you what I'm talking about with regard to the 10-year. There's a lot of stuff I got to catch up on. Hang on, just to show you that 10-year chart, 10-year yield, because it's so just visually when you see it, it's incredible. Hang on, we'll find it. Here, 2-day change in the US 10-year yield. Here's the one. You guys see this? This is where we're at right now. Look at previously, taking out all those peaks. We've had a massive increase in the 10-year yield. So with that said, that's why stocks are struggling right now. And that's why metals and bonds are probably going to keep going down. But, you know, we may see a little bit of a temporary bounce here. Yeah, wasn't that crazy, Steve? Amazing. So, and see with OMA, this didn't come as a surprise to us because of what we're seeing here on the quarterly chart. Because by the end of this quarter, according to this quarterly chart, there's a decent probability we can be down here at these lows, which means what? Yields are going to go a lot higher, which means what? The stock market's going to go a lot lower, which means what? We're going to short and make a lot of money. We're just waiting for the right opportunity. Everybody else can spend their money and go broke waiting for the opportunity. We will just wait for the actual opportunity to present itself, and then we will make a lot of money. So the question is, are bonds, you know, they're pretty overdone. I mean, they're going to keep dropping, but, you know, are they going to rally here to start the day? I wouldn't be surprised. You know, you're going to eventually have some, you know, the Fed stepping in or the Treasury or something. So you got a little bit of a buy pattern here. See how the hourly is working its way inside the envelope. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a counter trend. Is it something for me to buy? Nah, it really isn't. Just because of what I said, I just, on principle, I can't go against what I'm seeing on the weekly and the daily, which is extreme bearishness. Instead, wait for rallies as opportunities to get short. Let's look at gold. Yes, this would be nice. Maybe gold can rally up, give us a nice short opportunity up higher. Look at silver again. Steve, let me know if you see anything you want to discuss. Copper, platinum. Look, platinum's trying to give us a little bit of a bounce. So that's nice. But yeah, I mean, guys, if we just wait. I mean, the higher platinum goes, in my view, the better the short. All good things come to those who wait. I don't see a volume POC. A volume POC where? Where are you looking for a volume point of control, Stephen? Oh yeah, no, TradeStation has terrible volume data, which is why I use Sierra charts. The main advantages of Sierra charts is the volume information, you know, the volume profiles, everything like that. So good on Sierra charts. And the yearly and the quarterly charts. TradeStation doesn't have those either. I built some synthetic yearly and quarterly charts on TradeStation that I can use, but I just like having the ones with the real data that Sierra charts provides. But yeah, Sierra is definitely the place to be for the volume profiles. And spend some time looking at the volume profile here, going through the different markets since we have some time here. Let's start by looking at we'll look at the composite. This is really the most important one we're interested in. All the shorter term volume profiles that I show you sometimes, they can be helpful sometimes, but they're also not helpful sometimes. Really the composite is kind of what it's all about. Let's look at the composite volume profile for ES. So you can see certainly if we were to get this low volume area here, kind of matching up with a nice OMA level there, just above 49.80. So probably going to be, if we were to pop up there. So let's say today, for example, if the hourly was to give us an exhaust into this level on ES, you know, as long as bonds continue to look under pressure and the dollar strong, I'll look to short ES, you know, up into that 49.80 or higher level, assuming I have a good hourly pattern. And you can see that overlay right here. So it's kind of this level here, and it's matching up nicely with the low volume rejection on the profile there. So that's a potential play for the day for ES up into 49.80 or higher. You can mark that down. Just wait for it to get up there. If it does, I think that's the place where you know got a very high probability short. You know, 49. Let's get the exact number. You know, 49.83.5. Just yesterday's high is right around 49.80. So, you know, a few points above yesterday's high, I think is going to be, you know, you don't always want to just go willy-nilly shorting. Just go, oh, it's yesterday's highs there. Now, but in this particular instance, we've got some good confluence of resistance up there with Owings market analysis. I do think with rising yields and the strong dollar, I just don't see this thing, you know, pushing toward 5,000 today. It might, but until that happens, I have to, you know, trade what I'm seeing. And on OMA here, you know, the fact that we're moving in here, the daily chart, guys, you can see the fact that we're moving back inside the envelope tells me that there's a pretty good chance we could cycle from here back down to here. And if you look at the Dow, you know, the Dow has already done that right there on the daily. So that's why we're keeping an eye on that. Do the NASDAQ. Kind of similar up there on the NASDAQ. 17,776. There's our year. God, wouldn't it be great to get our NASDAQ trend line, Steve, like actually during the New York morning? So far, it's like I've had to stay awake every night waiting for that 1776. Last night we didn't even get it. But here it is. There's our yearly NASDAQ chart. That's what we're waiting for. 17,776. Get short. And today, on the daily chart, I think our near high is coming in. 17,796. Yeah, so anywhere up in there would be fantastic. Look to potentially get short. So we just wait. We will get some good opportunities. See, because I don't want to, like, what people don't understand with the NASDAQ is that, you know, the harmonic number is like 18 points in the NASDAQ. What all that means is that if you're within 18 points, that's noise. You can be right on a trade and it can go 15, 16 points against you easy on the NASDAQ, right? So if that's the case, you kind of don't want to get into trades unless you think you have a pretty good chance of making 30, 40, 50 points, right? That's really important. Unless you're just doing some shorter term trading, but I don't recommend that. So that's what we're waiting for in the NASDAQ, a little bit of a pop, because let's see, we'll do some scenario analysis while we wait. There's never too much preparation time. So you guys can see here how the daily is stalling out on the NASDAQ. Here you can see the volume profile composite much better. Put an American flag. Yeah, I should right there. I will, Steve. We'll put an American flag there. Yeah, it's a bummer. TradeStation's just behind the ball on the volume data. I don't know why, but there must be some they must just not have the data or something. All right, let's just see what we're looking for. So keep this in your head here, this mental picture. What we'll do is we'll go back and see. This is called scenario analysis. So it's kind of like this, not too dissimilar. If you look at this period of time here, see how it just kept trying, and then you got the flush. I'm kind of looking for something more like this once the party starts, but we'll know, because as you start to move lower, you're going to start breaking extensions, and you're going to do so on bigger volume. You see, I'll pick up there. So the signs will be clear. That's what we're looking for in the NASDAQ. I think that near high is and plus we also have these sticking out here, Steve. These are things you're probably just starting to pay attention to and learn. Like that. All right. PL trying to move above 911. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. And we don't have any major news at 8:30. We do have Canadian building permits. I suppose we could watch the Canadian dollar since we got nothing better to do. We do have a 10 o'clock U.S. Economic Optimism Index. I don't know. It says medium. Might be something there. We'll remember that anyways. That's 10 o'clock. So platinum. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is, I think platinum may want to go even higher. We'll just have to wait and see, but up in here would be beautiful. But certainly the first level of defense is here, so we'll see. It's a question of, that could be an exhaust, but we're also breaking, a lot of resistance there. Could be an exhaust though. We'll keep an eye on platinum. Wait till the hourly close anyways. I wouldn't short it. I mean, better just wait and see what it does. Look at ES. But yeah, keep an eye on platinum, Steve. Ooh, a little bit of a pop here in ES. Yeah, there's definitely some resistance there on platinum, but I would wait until that hourly close because it may push through that first level of resistance. Even if you have on platinum, even if it was to close right here, could be an exhaust for a short back down, but I'm not really nuts about the fact that it's just a couple of reasons. That, and then also that. So I don't think I'd be shorting it based on that. Doesn't mean it won't go down, just means I prefer to take the trades where I have a lot of reasons to take them. Let's look at bonds. They're probably pushing up a little bit since, yeah, they're trying. I mean, bonds I would like up in here somewhere. It's the ultra bond. So there's going to be some volatility coming into. Let's see, is there a... We can treat the opening of the bond market, which is typically around 8:20 a.m. every day. That's kind of like a mini news announcement, which we can look for a trade. So here's the ultras. You know, you're probably going to have some resistance here at that extension at 126.27. Still kind of in no man's land. I like to take these hourlies when they're more in line with the daily, but you've got a lot of resistance there at 126.27. Keep an eye on this. We've got 20 seconds until the bond market gets rocking and rolling at 8:20 a.m. Eastern, and that's because of the old floor pit hours when they used to trade bonds at the Chicago Board of Trade on the floor. In Chicago. Oh, so waiting, guys. Snow falling here in Sweden. I've been on quarantine, Steve, at the house now, like, I don't know, 10 days, 11 days. It's gonna be nice to like go to the gym and get back to the world of the living. All right, no action there on the bond market. The open, slow day. All right, well, guys, let's just take a little break here. We've got the game plan for the day, and now we just wait and execute our game plan. So, and we'll just see that's what I like to do. Is the best results come from, number one, you plan your day, and number two, you follow your plan, and hopefully your plan is good and accurate. Ours is. And then you also just keep an eye on how the scoreboard is developing throughout the day, and look for opportunities that pop up that maybe you didn't expect to start the day, but you're starting to see something happening throughout the day. So that's the way I like to trade each day. Plan it, trade the plan, wait for the trades to come to us, and then just keep an eye on the scoreboard, the markets, and if anything unexpected, like an unexpected opportunity comes our way, we take advantage of that. PL had more action, yeah. I guess, well, the metals also open right around that time at 8:20. But still, yeah, that's interesting. So PL got slammed down. Is that, well, it's only at 909.5 now. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, there's resistance there. It's my first resistance level, but I'm not the type to just sit here and scalp this. I mean, if this was to close back, like let's say the hourly was to close down under the true average here, I might be more open to then trying to short platinum for a move back down to the lows. We'll see where that closes. It's definitely interesting, that's for sure. All right, just going to take a few minutes, you guys. Steven, do you want to watch Platinum or what do you want up on the screen? Tell me and I'll leave it there before I go upstairs. Take a break. Steve, you going to go for that extension there? Intra bar? I notice you're good at that. I usually like to wait for the closes, but you're kind of just taking them when they get up there. I think that's pretty smart. Probably not a bad trade at all. I only took a few minute break, guys, because my daughter's not home from preschool yet, so I'll go say hi to her when she gets home. But all right, do we want to watch the Canadian dollar here on the news? See if anything interesting happens. We can. Yeah, well, we'll watch the 10-year. It could move as well. Yeah, Steve, you like not a bad not a bad spot to look to get short. I think I got to start, instead of waiting for the hourly close as well, I got to be a little more proactive, but that'll be easier when I don't have COVID anymore. But you've got quite a nice resistance level here with the daily resistance level. It's either going to be the high of the session in here or up here, but it could just stop here. It very well could. I mean, the 10 years usually, I don't like, usually when you're coming out of something like this, you've got more power to potentially push higher, but certainly a lot of resistance. And you've also got there, that's nice. So right into 111. Thing is, the 10-year has just dropped so much in the last couple days. That's why I'm kind of, I don't know, there could be more of a bounce than we think, but maybe not. We'll see. Certainly with the Canadian number coming out in 5 seconds, that'll move the 10-year around a little bit. So guys, there's a lot of resistance we're keeping an eye on here on the 10-year Treasury. And we've still got the dollar 0748. The platinum's back up now, 912. That's why I said I think it's good to wait on platinum. I think if we just stay patient, guys, like we do every day, we just the trades, for me, once you learn Owings market analysis, there are many different ways you can use it. You can use it if you want to trade the daily chart into the weekly chart, if you're a swing trader, if you have a full-time job, whatever. I go through different periods, depending how hard I'm, like right now it's winter. I'm sick, obviously, but I spend more time in the house when I'm in Sweden. This summer, when I head back down to probably southern Portugal or the Canary Islands, I'm going to spend more time at the beach. So I'd be more willing to throw on some swing trades here and there. Right now, I'm not really swing trading because I'm more into the day trading at this exact moment. But you can use it however you want to trade. So you can even use it for investing. I mean, you can just use the quarterly and the yearly charts. At some point when I have more energy, we'll look at some stocks for you guys. We'll look at like Nvidia and Meta and see what some of our longer term OMA charts have to say about those stocks. Don't have the energy right now. Let's look at ES. A little bit of a push here. So NASDAQ trying to get up to our Independence Day trend line at 17,776. Right now we're at 17,734. See how the 10-year reacts to this resistance level. Here's the 10-year. Kind of curious how it reacts into that resistance level there. I mean, you can see if there's any indication. Well, there's gold, you guys see. Gold got shot down. I still like gold higher up. Yeah, 1776. We're getting close on the NASDAQ. We'll keep a very close eye on that. And guys, one of the reasons I'm, I think there's going to be a lot of great trading for us once this, like, look at gold right here. We're just stuck in this range. Once we really start moving, we're going to have some great trading to the downside. Because look at this quarterly chart on gold, guys. Right here. Exhaust straight up to the extension. I mean, by the end of March, we could be back down to 1800 for gold. We'll see. Wouldn't want to be long gold here, that's for sure. Get silver. So silver, silver's a difficult market to trade, but you've definitely, you got some resistance up in here for sure. Might have to, we'll start preparing for the 9 o'clock close here soon. But silver, we got some resistance. Platinum, certainly if we go higher. I mean, guys, if platinum gets up to 922 on this hourly bar, I might sell the house and just go all in short platinum. Just kidding, but it would be that would be such a monster exhaust right there on the hourly, right into the daily extension envelope top. I mean, anything can happen, but either platinum's getting seriously strong for a reason I don't understand, or it's going to be a great short. So when I make jokes, guys, that doesn't mean you should do it, and it doesn't even mean I'm going to take excessive risk. I'm just making a joke. I'm like, wow, that would be a great trade up there. Yeah, 920 plus, Steve, would be awesome. Anywhere up there. You've also got the weekly near high up there. See here on the weekly chart. Right up in there. That's coming in at, that's at 24, but I think that's asking a little much. Yeah, platinum's really, it's kind of fun to follow these different markets, isn't it, Steve? Like I think maybe when I'm feeling better, maybe we will start following corn and wheat and soybeans a little closer as well, because I kind of just, while we're waiting for the indices, these other markets are a lot of fun. Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, I got to get more comfortable with. Because I noticed I kind of missed a short of Bitcoin yesterday. Speaking of Bitcoin, we should look at it today. I keep forgetting to look at the cryptos. It's just not in my... Let's look at crypto real quick, you guys. I promise we're going to start taking crypto. We're going to celebrate our first crypto coin trade on the channel soon. Let's see what Bitcoin does. Kind of rolling over. It's just a tight, choppy range. That's why I'm not taking Bitcoin right now. Let's look at Ethereum. Just kind of waiting for an exalt. Like if Ethereum, for example, we can get back up to 2,400, ish. That'd be a good spot to maybe get short Ethereum. We'll just have to see. Could still, I'm bearish on crypto, especially given what we're seeing in the debt market. I think that's probably one of the main reasons I don't trade cryptos really at all, is because I don't quite see how they fit in yet. You know, how do they respond with the dollar and rates and all that kind of stuff? Because here you have crypto going higher while the dollar's been getting stronger. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. And, you know, so I think crypto's still, I'm trying to see how they fit into the overall scheme of things. Why I don't execute too many trades on crypto. Let's look at, so platinum's pushing higher. This is nice. We might get set up for a platinum short at 9 a.m. So here's platinum, you guys. This is the daily chart. Let's just pop on over to the hourly. If platinum can exhaust up here in the 920, either this hour or the next hour up in here, that's where we're looking to get short. And I'll show you a perfect example of this on the daily. This happened the other day. I remember it, or maybe, no, it was probably a couple weeks ago. There. See here? Platinum just drove up right near the envelope top in green and gets slammed down. Kind of be looking for the similar situation here. Even though this was, you were trending down a bit more solidly here. Here we're kind of trending down, but yeah, I still think it's a great short up here. Keep an eye on platinum. Silver as well, I think, is potentially setting up a nice short. Silver looks weaker to me than platinum overall. So I'd like silver to try and get back up here to short it, 22.44 maybe, if we can get up there in the next 20 minutes. Gold already got shot down here. Copper got shot down. 10 years probably also getting, so this is interesting. Gold, silver, and copper and the 10-year are all getting shot down, and platinum's just going, you know, to the moon. Why? The dollar's pretty strong right now. I think if that's the case, then platinum, here's platinum again. We may not get to 920. We may settle back down here. I don't know. It's still, platinum might be a short even if we close back inside of, it's kind of hard to say, but if we close under that 912 level and really under those highs and sort of at or under the true average there, then this could be a potential exhaust up for a move back down like that on platinum. Maybe, especially if you know, the 10-year and the bonds keep heading down, rates are going up, dollar's getting strong. So it could be a decent. So here's the ultra bond. Couldn't even maintain up there. So that's boding well for our platinum short. What do you think? Yeah, we have some support on platinum at 900 for sure. That's where I take profit. Bitcoin has big runs that we should be able to get in on early with OMA. Yeah, for sure. We can get in on everything with OMA. It's just a matter of like time and energy and focus, you know, keeping track of all the markets. That was one of my primary reasons for, you know, coming out to the public with the course, is that I want students like Steve and other students that will learn OMA, and eventually in the elite area members, you know, the members area, we'll have different experts tracking different sectors, alerting us all to what's going on, right? Because I don't have time to follow it all. So somebody could, some other expert at OMA could be like, hey, I see this, this, and this on Bitcoin. I'll look at it and go, yeah, obviously, boom. And then, you know, we're all alerted to Bitcoin. Yeah, we need a crypto bro. We need somebody from Miami to be our in-house crypto expert. That would be funny. Be hilarious. All right. So any crypto bros out there, let me know. You can come over and be our in-house expert. I'll teach you how to use OMA, and then you can follow crypto for us. I'll as we get more rocking and rolling too, I'm gonna, and I feel better, I'll have I intend to start a full-on swing trading section inside OMA. I just right now I don't have the energy to do all that. I'm kind of easing into the live streaming and getting the course off the ground, and it's all new and exciting. It takes a lot of energy until I can get it up to the sustainable level, and then I can start adding some more stuff. All right, so we've got 842. Where's platinum? 930. Oh, nice. Platinum still trying 913. Very nice. Yeah, platinum's nice too, right, Steve? Because it's a little bit of a smaller contract. It's not quite as scary as gold or silver. I mean, on those challenge accounts, I mean, that's why they're hard. I mean, we're obviously going to pass them, and you're already passing and getting funded. So it's not going to be hard for us. But for the average person, to try and make, you got to get to over 100% on your money. I mean, and you don't have much of a draw, and it trails, So like on gold, let's say you take a gold trade. I mean, any kind of a decent gold trade, you're going to need to use at least like a $5 stop on gold, one contract, $500. And then let's say that's the interesting about the challenge, right? Is that, let's say you're in that trade, you're up $5 on gold, and then it comes back and hits your stop minus $5. Then you actually get penalized for $1,000 of you've already used almost half your drawdown, and you only took one little loss on gold. So that's the hard part about those challenges for people. But that's why I'm trying to show you guys here how to manage the risk and pass the challenges without having too much trouble. But for most people, I mean, I feel bad for most people out there taking these challenges. Just like, I don't think they realize how high the odds are stacked against them. This is why I'm so selective with my trades, not just for my own money, but also now that we're doing this fun thing with the challenges, is you really got to focus on high quality trades as opposed to quantity. You see so many people out there just like, clicking buttons on the NASDAQ. It's like, I mean, that might work sometimes, but I don't think it's going to be a sustainable strategy. What's your strategy? I don't know. I look at the NASDAQ and I just kind of take a guess and see what happens. Like, all right, that's awesome. All right. Anyways, guys, I'm just having fun. I'm delirious with my COVID. I really like trading platinum, Steve says, because I'm just not as nervous of it reversing on me. Yeah, exactly. That's one thing too. For people who don't trade the other futures markets, like platinum, copper, silver's a little bit of a nutcase, but platinum, copper, bonds, certainly, when you pick these markets at the right spot, they don't put you through the same type of headaches that, like, let's say the indices will, right? Like, you can be in a winning position on the NASDAQ and, it'll just put you through emotional turmoil, right? Because it's just the way it's going. You get in on a good one on platinum or copper or the bonds. If you want to short and it starts to go your way, you can kind of relax usually. It doesn't usually just do something crazy against you. Silver's kind of hit and miss. I like silver a lot. I put on a lot of trades on silver, but platinum is definitely a very, underrated market. And it's thick enough. I mean, you've only got 20,000 contracts trading on platinum average per day, but look at the spread here. I mean, I'll bring it up. You see platinum there on the DOM? Just a couple of ticks. It's not too bad. And it's a very friendly contract size. You see, it's just moving nice and easy. Compare platinum there. Silver will kind of sit there, and then you just get like this, 5 cent in silver. It's just a bit more wacky. All right, let's do our check. We've got our game plan here. We know what we're waiting for. We'll trade the indices at the open at 9:30, but for the 9 o'clock check, we might have some action. Let's just quickly roll through these charts here. So for ES, we are, for the indices, we're waiting to short a little higher up. So just want to take a quick look and see where we are for the overall package. So for indices here, guys, I'm waiting for ES. I'd like to see maybe a little 2-bar push like this, and maybe set up a 10 o'clock a short for a move back down. Potential. That's just something I'm eyeing for ES. So we'll wait for that to develop. Similar in in NQ, and this will also influence our opening range trade. So we'll come back to those. But heading into the 9 o'clock hour close here, let's look at the 10-year Treasury. I mean, the 10 years at 27. You see, it's unable to hold on to rallies here, which means yields are continuing to rise. The dollar is still, we're at 07.49 on the euro future, so still strong dollar. So metals are not going to like this for the upcoming hour, this picture here. So let's go ahead and look and see what we've got for metals, because bonds we're waiting to short, but we're not really up into resistance yet. You can see gold. Gold is giving us a little bit of a resistance pattern. We're not quite in my zone. Silver, I'm potentially looking to short into 44. And right now we're at 41. So if silver, could just give us one last little push up here, definitely open to shorting silver. Even right here, I could see a retest back down here to 22.32. Let's look at copper. Yeah, I see copper's already heading south for the winter here. Not really giving us an opportunity to short, but certainly silver could be a short. Platinum here for sure. Here's platinum. We're breaking through this temporary area, but like I just discussed, this is a key daily level. If it holds and we get a close below that level at these old lows, these are the highs from London. I would like to see our close here on the hourly at or below the true average here. That would give me a lot more confidence that we could see a reversal back down. So we'll keep an eye on platinum. Platinum, potential short if we still got 10 minutes to see where this settles. And silver, we're at 22.41. Silver's kind of, I like it a lot, potentially for 9 a.m. So just, it would be nice if we can just get a little bit of a punch up here. So I'm looking for something like, the dollar is going to need to stay below 07.50. Right now it's at 48. So we can take a look at the euro futures contract here. Looking pretty weak, which is good. Dollar strength. You see, it's kind of 0.64. This is how you use OMA. This is the key daily level right here. So as long as the dollar stays, sub 107.64, 65 against the euro, I think that, you're looking good to short the metals there in that case. So now we got the, look at the ultra bonds here quickly. The ultra bonds as well, if we were able to get a push up here. Just the one thing we just got to watch out for is that the metals are going to be sensitive to yields. And, just got to be a little careful, because right now we are at temporary daily support here on bonds, right? I'm not saying that's going to hold, but so far it's holding for 4 hours in a row, right? So if it does hold and you see this push up in bonds like this, which you could see, that means a drop in yields. That means metals will also push higher along with the euro against the dollar. So, you got to be aware of these things when you're going to put on these types of very high quality trades. With that said, platinum has already kind of outdone itself a bit too much, because see, platinum's already up here. Right? If you think about all these together, platinum's already there. Let's go back to platinum. I think platinum, what do you think about platinum, Steve? I think I like, there's a lot of resistance here in platinum. But again, I want to see where it settles here. We still got 9 minutes. Silver's at 40.5. We might take some action here. Be nice to get a 1-2 punch, a nice winner on the 9 o'clock hourly trade, book it, and then go straight over to the indices and pick off something nice at the open. My COVID is slowly getting better now, so I'm getting ready to print money again. I focus back a little bit. Yeah, so you see platinum kind of settling back down there below that 911, basically that 912. That's the level we want to see hold. Because then that could confirm that daily resistance level is valid, and that's an hourly exhaust for a move back to the downside for a reversal. Show you what I mean. Yeah, where do you think platinum? Yeah, on the hourly. Yeah, I think so too. Back in here somewhere. I'll look for something similar here on platinum, just to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. I mean, look, when platinum gets going, it can get going. Jumpy. Kind of like this, but in reverse. See right there how that smashed down and then straight back up? Kind of like, you know, you're looking for something like that, but in the opposite direction this time. So platinum could be a short. And it's kind of something too where, like, just get in. I got to be a bit more aggressive, you know, getting in. And then if it starts to go against you, you know, just cut it. Like, it's not a big deal. But if it starts to go for you, you know, let it go and let it work. That's what's nice for these challenges too, with their trailing draws on a market like platinum or bonds. You know, you typically, it doesn't mess with you as much on the trailing draw. ZN stopped just short of 111. Yeah, where are we at now? 26.5. Yeah, it didn't look like it was coming back up. But look, if ZN doesn't come back up and ZN keeps heading down, ZN is the 10-year treasury, you guys, for those of you who don't know. If the 10-year treasury starts coming down, that means rates are pushing higher. The dollar's at 0747. That could be looking good for our platinum short. It's a dangerous short in the sense that it could just fire straight up and through, but I think it's, under the circumstances with what we're seeing in bonds and the dollar, I think it's worth probably putting on and just hoping we get a quick snap to the downside. And if we put it on and it starts pushing up, I'll kind of immediately know that we're wrong. Then the question is where to enter. I guess I would, you know, either mark it right here, depending where it closes, or you set an order for, you know, 913 with a stop at like right up here. We'll see. Kind of my idea for 9 o'clock. Let's look at 10-year here, because this is going to also determine the direction of metals. Yeah, I mean, they look pretty weak. Probably the 10-year is going to head back down here. I like that the 10-year is not at its support level yet. It means we have some room to drop. Because even though the ultra bonds and the 30-year, they are at their support levels, but the 10-year here, here's the 10-year, you know, has some room to potentially drop down. If that happens and the dollar can stay under pressure, then I like the idea of the platinum short. I mean, silver so far is not able to get above and stay above 2240. Gold's kind of struggling. So there's certainly a lot of resistance here. We got the middle of the moving average envelope on the weekly as well. Just the thing is, you've had a pretty big drop on platinum already. You see, this is the one area of my hesitation. Doesn't mean I'm not going to take this trade. But you see on the weekly here, you already dropped from 1020 the last few weeks down, and now you're kind of consolidating. You know, are we going to push back up higher first? I mean, I don't know. This is my only hesitation here with platinum. We'll see. We might short or we might wait. Silver, on the other hand, I just wish it would come back up a little bit. There's the 10-year. I mean, silver, starting to move a little bit. Silver's kind of, you know, you want to get it up in here. But look, platinum's pushing higher, you guys. Isn't that funny? Right as I talk about that, I go, yeah, I don't know. I think platinum could maybe push higher. It's like the market heard me. Now we're back to 913.5. Look. See? And so this is telling me I wouldn't short this because we're, you know, it's not respecting this first level of defense resistance. So therefore you just don't short. So, well, let's go long. I'm not that excited about going long. You know, I just don't have the confirmation to short it. So platinum is off the list. Let's look at 10-year. Yeah, I should have probably shorted the 10-year up in there. Let's look at gold. Gold was kind of given a little bit. See, I mean, I'm not going to short gold here. It's just a tempting double top here on gold. You got some really nice OMA stuff in here. I just, on the daily where we are, see, we're kind of in no man's land here. Doesn't mean it won't drop. It might. Silver, I kind of like where we are a little bit better. But I want to short higher up here. No, guys, I'm being way too selective, but that's the way I roll. It's the clear ones I just can't wait to put on. There's nothing worse than putting on a trade where you kind of like knew you shouldn't, and then you still do. I rarely do that anymore, thank God. But it's not a good feeling. Here's crude. Don't see anything I like. Look at the indices. You guys digging the stream? Let me know if you guys like being patient. I like to be patient. Let me know if you guys like making money. I like to make money. Patience is a good way to do that. So the two kind of go together for me. Let's see, ZN. I'm reading Steve here. Steve's my co-pilot, flying the plane. Guys, I just met Steve like 3 weeks ago. He just started taking my course and kicking ass, and now he's like my co-pilot. NQ hitting the extension and more work to do. Yeah, NQ we wanted to get back up to our independence trend line. ES as well. I think these might squeeze into the open and maybe give us a really good short up here at the open, which I'm definitely up for, especially if yields keep rising. I think we'll hold off on the indices until the open. Starting to get some movement though, 9 a.m. Look at the 10-year. A lot of nice resistance here on the 10-year. I think we'll just have to see. Gold. I mean, you certainly have a nice little. This is tempting the you know what out of me on gold, but I just I can't take it where we're at. Gold's one of those things where I could just take it right there and just, if it doesn't immediately go, you just get out. I'm not going to take it, but this is kind of sometimes when you got that true average right there, you know, if you jump in and take it, it'll just go. And if it doesn't, you just get out. But I'm not taking this one, guys, only because I love the way the hourly looks here, but I just can't go against, you know, it's where we are here on the daily. We're in no man's land, you know, so I don't like to take trades in no man's land. So I'm going to pass on that. Let's look at silver. Silver got back up to 22.42. I think these want to just push a little higher and set up a short a little higher. And you know, like, okay, if they're going to push a little higher, is there anything we want to go long on? No, not right now. Here's platinum. I mean, that could be an exhaust for platinum, but I'd prefer to just wait for it. I mean, platinum may bless us with a push up here to like 928, which would be great. We'll just hold off on platinum. The dollars. See, guys, euros back above 0750. I think we're going to see just a little. Let's look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. The good news is either all that coffee I drank is giving me a very nice focused effect now, or my COVID is slowly wearing off, which means I can start kicking ass again. Here's Bitcoin. No clear pattern there. The one I missed on Bitcoin the other day I was going to show you guys was right here. See that? I need to watch Bitcoin because this is the kind of trade I was looking for. You see that exhaust right there? This is just textbook OMA here. Blow off exhaust. Just perfect. Right into the daily near high. You see the daily near high? Boom. Daily envelope top. Boom. Like this is what we want. So I need to watch Bitcoin because when it delivers gifts like this, we need to get short, right? Even if it only does that once a week. Great. Adds to our playbook. I saw that the other day when I was reviewing the charts after the stream. I was like, I got to watch Bitcoin more carefully. Okay, so let's look at ES here. And yeah, I think ES is looking pretty bullish heading into the open, you guys. So like I said, I don't we'll see where we are in the open, but I think the play potentially could be a short up into like 49.84 at the open. Looking for a big push up with a reversal back down. But we'll see where we're at as we get a little closer. Then we also want to see what bond yields are doing heading into the open. Here's the 10-year, just kind of hanging out. What are ultra bonds doing? Yeah, see ultra bonds. They look like they want to push up off that daily support we've been talking about. Check back in with gold. Yeah, gold, we're going to wait. But man, if we were to get back up to, here's the weekly gold chart, you guys. True average. Right there. Last week's close. 2052. That'd be a good spot to go short. Especially if yields continue to rise. And look, that's kind of lining up with the near high here. I could see if we were to get lucky, because these guys, the reason I'm so patient is when you pick these things right, like let's say I pick my level here on gold. If you get an exhaust up into that level and let's say, assuming your analysis is correct up here, those are the ones that you get those right and you short up there, let's say 2056, let's say you get a big exhaust like that, like the one we just looked at on Bitcoin, right? Those are the ones you want because the stop is so defined. If you lose, you lose a few bucks on gold. If you're right, it does this and heads straight back down. On one trade, you can pass your whole challenge if you play it smart, right? So it's just something. It's hard with the trailing draw. I get it because when you're in that challenge and you're up like $1,000 on a trade, you're like, geez, what if it comes back to break even? Now probably if I was up 1,000, I would just take the profit. But you guys get what I mean. Like on Bitcoin here, that one we just looked at. These are the ones. If you wait for it to get to you, you short there, it's exhausted. So your stop is just above that high. And this is just, maybe you're not going to catch the whole thing, but certainly you would catch, from 43,725 down to 43, 400. So if you do 2 mini Bitcoins contracts, it's like a $900 win because it's 1 Bitcoin per contract. I think the normal Bitcoin futures contract is 5 Bitcoins per contract. Anyways, those are the types of trades we're looking at because you got to take the same amount of risk, you guys, on every trade, right? So because you kind of need to hide behind a smart level or a high or a low. So you want to try and get in on those ones that are going to give you the chance to go. And for me, those are exhausts. So that's why I'm always waiting for it to jump up and tag a key level that I'm looking for a reversal, because that's historically where I find that I get the best risk to reward. That makes sense, Steve? I think yes is. Hey guys, NASDAQ, what if we get 1776 right at the open? We shall see. Uh-huh. Yeah. The good news is with the NASDAQ is heading into the open. Your last hourly bar here did close with resistance levels holding. So any attempt to push through these highs should be a good spot at trying to short. And we do have 1776 coming across right here, which is also at that trend line right there. So you could see, you know, you could short there, and then this one comes back down like that. Potentially. It's a potential play there for the open for the NASDAQ. Definitely. You're right at, here's your weekly OMA chart. So you got some resistance here. Still, the monthly is still pretty bullish. I got to respect that. So there's no guarantee that these levels are going to hold. But we need to keep an eye on them. And a lot will depend on what the dollar and what yields are doing at the open. Look at crude. Platinum again. Yeah, so platinum is coming down. Maybe that was the exhaust on platinum. Could be. But I still think. Man. I got 8 hours of sleep, but right now I need like 20 hours. There's copper pushing higher. Silver. Got some resistance here for sure, silver. But again, you see, it's not really like, these are the ones you want. See how it's jumping out of the range here? That's kind of what you want. I think similar to what we're seeing in you see this right here, Steve, how silver, it was a nice trade at London, or just before London. I don't know if I would have taken it because it did break, you know, temporarily. It did shoot up and through the daily resistance zone there, right? But then as soon as that closed here, back down below it, now you can start trying to short the true average on the daily. So if we see something similar like that on platinum, you know, it's CL for 4 hour. We'll look at platinum in a sec. Yeah, we're kind of in no man's land on the crude daily chart, though. You got a lot of conflicting signals because on the weekly chart here for crude, you've got a lot of potential support that's pushing up. But on the daily chart, yeah, if that downtrend is going to continue, you're at the middle of the moving average envelope, but you're going against what could be some seriously strong weekly support. So I don't really like crude at this exact moment. But if you see something that you want to trade, don't let me stop you. So what I was just saying, so here you go. What I was just saying on silver may apply to platinum here, right? So you see how silver at the beginning of London here, it exhausted up and through its daily true average. I probably would have been a little leery shorting that, but as soon as that next hour you get confirmation with a close back down, now you know, looking back, that's an exhaust. The daily resistance level is in play, and now you can try and short the daily resistance level with an order with your stop above the exhaust high. I'm saying this because we might be planning a potential platinum short here. If platinum continues to head down here, then we might be able to set an order to try and short 912, you know, next hour. So like if platinum, you know, closes this hour like that, then maybe we can short here for the next hour for the continuation. Just an idea, especially looking at the dollar and looking at the yields. So gold just kind of hanging out there at 20.45. Silver's at 22.40. Copper's trying to push a little higher. I think that's because of the indices, obviously. So we've got some good trades setting up. Just looking at the indices, they're going to open here in about 15 minutes. Looking at the NASDAQ, got a lot of resistance here into that 17,776, just above the highs from London here. So I'll be keeping a close eye, maybe on shorting up in here, just above those highs. But I want to see where yields are and where the dollar's at heading into the open. And the daily still, there's a lot of resistance up here, but you know, if that yearly trend line here, this is what we're watching, guys. This yearly trend line, 17,776. It's held every time. But if that starts to, that's why I'm looking at shorting. And it's resistance until it's not, right? So I'm going to lean against that trend line, but if it starts to break, because that's coming across right here, we have to go into the open thinking that's going to hold and look to short. But if it starts to really break down, you know, that could be your catalyst to see a pretty big squeeze today. So we'll see. And the monthly chart and the weekly, I mean, you've got some conflicting energies today on the indices, so you got to be careful. So we'll look for a good trade at the open, but we will continue to exercise caution. Keep the powder dry. Look at ES. ES is squeezing now 49.70. For ES, my preferred level is around 49.84. And that might just be if we get a 2-bar push heading into the open like that, and then the 10 o'clock hourly close. That would be the exhaust. I would potentially be looking for reversal back down. Maybe even at the open. And I think these are going to want to squeeze at the open, because looking at the ES here, you guys see how, so I'm not even against a long at the open, depending where we are, but you see how we did break these key resistance levels, right? So this could be the type of thing where, you know, maybe I'll look to go long 49.65 at the open. If bonds are pushing higher, yields are backing off, euro's up around 0760 against the dollar, then I might take a long at the open. So let's just see where we are, because I do think we're going to go up here. It looks like it wants to go up there. And if that's the case, and we can try and make, you know, I want to short up here later, but if we're going to go from point A to point B first, potentially, and if we can snag something on the open and try and maybe make, you know, 10 or 15 points, then we will try to do that. So I think ES is the one I like the best. Even though we're getting close to that 1776 on the NASDAQ, ES just looks better for the opening range play from the long side, I think. We're going to keep an eye on that for the open. We'll probably trade the ES at the open. Platinum really dropping now. Okay, so that was an exhaust. We're at 909.5. So I think we're pretty much confirming that resistance level now. I don't. You can do what you want, Steve. I might set an order to go short platinum around 912 with a stop at like 916. Because now, to me, that exhaust is confirmed. And if it's possible now, intra-bar, if you got a little bit of a pump, well, I would actually look for not even 912. I would look for, you know, I guess about 912, 911.8. potentially. Let's see if I set an order on platinum at 911.8. Just to see if we get lucky and get it filled on a pop and drop back down and try and make a few hundred quick bucks. Otherwise, we will soon turn our attention to ES. Platinum, I'm going to look to short at 911.8. I don't have a stop in, but my stop is, you know, mental. I really don't want to see it getting back above and hanging out above 912, right? So if I short 911.8 and it doesn't immediately drop back down, I probably just cut the loss. Let's just watch it here heading into the open before we have to turn our attention to ES. How do you like that, Steve? 912 for short platinum. I mean, it looks to me like that's an exhaust now. We'll see. We'll see. If it gets filled here quickly and we can make a little bit on it and then turn our attention back to ES, great. Otherwise, I'll have to cancel platinum and head back over to ES because I can only, you know, watch one thing at a time. And at least with ES at the open, we'll get some volatility. The platinum could be on its way back down here now. Being short from 914 would be nice. Yeah, we have a nice, I like it. I think it's worth, if we can get filled at 911.8 and get lucky and have it drop pretty quickly, that would be nice. And if it goes against us and goes back up to like 913 and take $100 and $150 loss or something, and feels worth it to try and make 400, 500, 600 to risk, you know, 100, 150. It feels like it's a pretty high probability setup. Especially the dollar is still, you know, we're 107.48 on the euro futures. 10-year is still, you know, below 111. So I think, and just looking at this now, it looks very clearly like that is an exhaust. So, you know, people who got long up here, now they should be looking to exit on any bounce, which with new shorts entering, that's why I'm thinking if it punches up to our entry, it needs to get pushed down, because that would be a sign that, you know, the longs are nervous and the shorts are coming in. And if it doesn't do that, then I'm going to exit, you know, quickly. Let's see. Trying to get up there. And we got the market opening in 9 minutes. Just have to see if we get filled platinum. I don't know if it makes sense to just watch platinum, because I need to monitor my trades. That's how I manage my risk so effectively. So if we get filled platinum, is it best to focus on platinum, not turn our attention to ES? Maybe. We'll see. Make it a game time decision. I got 9 minutes. Nice if we could just jump up there right now and fill us. I think good chance we could be headed back down to these lows for platinum. So let's see. The yes is 49.70. Yeah, silver still 22.40, gold's 20.45. I like the short here on platinum. Just punch up a little bit. Like I said, it's gonna, I really, once it punches up, if we get filled, I don't want it to hold, stabilize above 912. Being a little aggressive here because we haven't waited for this bar to close back below. There is that, but I'm willing to just, like I said, see if it fills us and immediately gets knocked back down. That's a good sign. Give it a chance. Might turn our attention to ES back at the open. ES is sitting at 49.71. I do think we're going to see a pump at the open. Might be something to try to take advantage of there. Watch platinum for a few minutes. Euros 0750, the 10 years still below 111. Silver 2242. We having fun yet, you guys? I'm having fun. Feeling a little better today. Slow but sure. Not as grumpy today. Come on, platinum. Right. I mean, platinum's going to move a little at the open too. I mean, we don't know. Platinum could be on its way back down to 902, you know, so I don't want to. If we get filled platinum, it could focus on this. It could be a nice winner for the rest of the hour while we wait for ES to set up a short higher. I mean, generally speaking, I think platinum is a easier market to trade. That's for sure. Easier. Nothing's easy, guys. Like, relatively speaking. We're looking to get short platinum at 911.8. And we'll see if we get filled or not. We're looking for a quick, if it fills us, it's got to reject quickly. If not, we're going to be out. We think we've put in an exhaust for a reversal back down. Got to keep an eye on the dollar. We're at 0751. Silver's 22.43. That's good. We want to see that stay, you know, right around that level. Gold's 20.46. Because if gold and silver are going to rally and the dollar is going to give back some, and we don't want to be short platinum. But for now, you know, we can just give it a little bit of a chance here. See, it tried there. And if we don't get filled platinum here before the open, we might turn our attention to ES and see what we've got over there for the opening range trade. But for now, there's a good chance in my mind. Well, the 10 years back to 29.5. As long as the 10-year stays under 111. I like this trade on platinum. Yeah, ZN's trying to push back. still think platinum's good. I think we're gonna have multiple opportunities, even if we miss platinum right now. I mean, if it goes, see, it's kind of doing what I thought now. This is what I was looking for. But if it closes even, let's say 908, we could try and short it next hour as well. See, I'm still giving it a little bit of a chance to get filled, and then we'll turn our attention to ES. But based on that exhaust right there, I think there's a good shot platinum's headed back down for the lows from yesterday down in here at 897. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that order, only because this could take forever to pop back up and fill us, and I don't have time to manage it. Let's go look at ES for the open. And platinum, keep an eye on platinum too, Steve, if you don't mind. Let me know if we get back up near that 912 level. So ES, I don't know if I'm going to trade this at the open. We're just going to have to see. I'm just telling you guys what I know a lot of you guys like ES. I mean, the monthly chart's bullish for now. The weekly, you do have a strong resistance pattern, but it's I think it's going to be choppy. I just kind of feel like it wants to go. I think ES looks like it at least wants to revisit yesterday's high at 80. So I don't know, aggressive players, you got a lot of support there at 64, 65. I don't know if I'm going to take that. I think because I'm just looking for very high probability setups. I think platinum is probably a better setup, but it's looking to me like, let's just see. I think today is it's a bit of a risky day to trade the open here with ES, but if I had to guess, it looks like it's going to try to push higher. There's the open. I got platinum on my DOM because I might switch back to platinum as well, but we'll keep an eye on ES here. That platinum's dropping nicely. I would like to be short platinum from 914. Anyways, those are the ones we're looking for. Platinum is dropping nicely. Ooh, platinum just did a really big. So there's ES is pushing higher, kind of so far what I imagined. I think I'm going to wait to try and short ES at 10 o'clock if we get a 2-bar drive up here. For now, I think there's a lot of downward pressure on platinum that if we can just get a little bit of a pop to try and get short, I really like this trade. Just getting in is going to be the hard part. 911.5 maybe. I think I'm interested in 911.5. Let's keep an eye on platinum, see if we can get short at like 911.5. ES looks to me like it's going to try and drive up to that 49.80 level. We might get short 49.84 at the 10 o'clock close. Yeah, so platinum. This is what's nice about platinum is when you're in the trade, see how it just goes? It kind of doesn't look bad. It doesn't look back. But when you're not in and you want to get in, then it's not fun because you can't get in. Unless you want to chase down here, but I'm not a chaser. Even you sometimes chase and get away with it. But you can see we've got some nice live resistance coming in now. Basically this area here, 911 is, good level to lean into. If we get a little pop to 911, I'll be interested. I'll short up there if we get a pop. I'll set the order. I'm going to set the order for platinum to short at 911. 910.9 actually. So the order for platinum is in. I don't know if it'll get filled, but let's just let that work. for a sec. Roll through here. So we're trying to get short platinum. Steve, don't let me forget I've got that order on. I will forget running the stream and doing the analysis. So this is the 10-year. What would be nice is if the 10-year can rally a little bit, that might just give platinum a little juice to kick back up and fill us short. We'll see. The order's in on platinum. So the 10-year here. We're definitely interested in shorting bonds today, just waiting for a little bit of a rally. Here's the 30-year trying to push. Look at the ultra bond. Any type of a push. Gold here. We want to short gold, but there you go. Now gold is dumping. That was kind of that pattern I was eyeing for you guys. Silver's dumping. I think. Here we go. The metals are probably on. Platinum's 907. Probably gonna have to lower to 910 now. 910 is about as low as I'm gonna put it. So looking to get short at 910, but it's not looking likely. Get crude. So I don't think platinum's coming back, but we'll leave it there for a sec. You never know. Thing is, I don't want to miss. And you know, I had my reasons on platinum. I could have shorted at the high there at 914, but it just it looked like it could have pushed a little higher. But now we have confirmation on it, so that's why we're trying to get in. But you know what they say, confirmation is for Catholics. Sometimes you wait for confirmation in trading, and you miss the trade. But that's okay. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So looking at the 10-year here, we're just looking for a little bit of a push. Try and get short. Same with the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ and S&P tried to push a little bit, but so far they are. Oh yeah. That was my original idea on the NASDAQ. Short up there, but I think indices are going to be really wild today, so I'm just don't recommend trading them until they give us a pretty clear impetus of what they want to do, which is why, you know, if ES gets outside of that 49.80 level, that's where we'd potentially be willing to short. Let's look at the Dow and the Russell. I mean, not a huge Dow fan, but there goes the Dow. Yeah, not surprising. So we got to be careful with copper. That's why copper's rising, because the Dow is rising. The industrials, they do use the copper. And so Dow's got more. We've got a little bit of divergence because the Dow's got a strong daily support pattern here with OMA, and the NASDAQ and the S&P are just a little bit iffy. See, they're kind of diverging lately. Now platinum's at 906. I'm going to cancel that order on platinum. If it goes back up there, I'll put the order back on, but I can't risk forgetting about it. While I'm streaming, there's a chance I just forget about the order. Okay, so we got, let's see. Gold's back to 2043 and a half. Going to be a good day for shorting metals and shorting bonds. Just got to be a little more aggressive on the entry, I think, with platinum. Platinum was, that's kind of the one I'm waiting for. You see that big exhaust here. That's just a little too picky because we broke through that key level there. So, but then I was doing that. I was looking at silver here from earlier, and silver did the same thing right here. You see silver just before London gave us a nice exhaust right there. It broke some daily resistance, but you see, it didn't matter. We still went straight back down. So platinum kind of just did the same thing. So now what we're going to see is if platinum is also, going to try and just punch back up like silver did here before it rolls over. And we could still maybe get short on platinum at that 910, 911. I mean, ideally, we'd want to get short on platinum. Just like you see here on silver, the OMA true average, the daily true average is right there, 2250. That's where it rejected once the exhaust was confirmed. So for platinum, a similar situation unfolding would be, right, you see, so we've got the middle of the moving average envelope and the near high here on the daily. So as this pushes down, we could try and set an order to get short right up in here at 9, like I said, 911.8, something like that. So I'm going to just keep an eye on this, but certainly if we pushed back up there right now, I would get short. I'll leave platinum open on the DOM to keep an eye on that while we cycle through. And I think the key here for the metals to stay under pressure is that we want to see the 10-year here stay, relatively capped under 111, which so far there's 111 here. That's coming right in at the true average right here. Because if that starts to break, then we're probably headed to the envelope bottom and the near high. And if that happens, that'll give some stability to the metals. So just got to keep an eye on that. But right now it's looking, the 10-year is still under a lot of pressure. And if we can keep this level holding, then we could roll over from here and cruise on down to our next daily support level, which is down here, which would be a nice drop in the 10-year, a nice punch up in the 10-year yield, which would then also be a good catalyst to short stocks and keep shorting metals. So let's keep an eye on that. Keeping an eye on platinum over here. Look at the 30-year and the ultra bond. So the 30-year, yeah, I mean, if we were to get lucky and get an exhaust up on the 30-year or the ultra bond, when I say exhaust, guys, I'm meaning if we get a big just push, kind of like we just saw on platinum, those are the ones we want to short. So here's platinum kind of trying to get back up there now. You see, because platinum is following bonds, right? Because as bonds here push higher, yields are dropping, the metals will like that a little bit. The dollar is still sub 107.50 on the euro futures, which is important. As long as that dollar stays bid and bonds stay under pressure, then the metals will be good shorts. Question is just where from. We're trying to pick the good spots. So with platinum now here, I'm still very interested in shorting that the high 911s, basically. So keep an eye on that. Let's look at ES. So for ES, coming up on the 10 o'clock hourly close, we are, it's kind of, this is what I would love to see. If we do get a spike up here on ES like that, I mean, I'm going to just have to, I'll see where yields are and where the dollar's up. But if that happens right there on ES, I'm probably going to have to just take a short and look for a move back down like that. And if we nail it, we get lucky and not lucky, we're planning the trades and picking smart spots and using OMA and all that good stuff. But if we get lucky in the sense to get a quick drop back down, we can make 20 points on the ES. That'd be fantastic. Whereas on that type of an exhaust, if we go short and it starts to push higher at all, just, cut it, right? Just laying out the potential opportunity I see coming, because you are at the, we're at 909 on platinum. Nice. You are at the daily near high up here, and I could see some rejection up in there. Also got the weekly envelope top right you know, in this general area. So that could be a potential play for ES. We'll keep an eye on that. At NQ, because you can already see NQ is not really digging what the ES. I mean, unless we're preparing for the NQ is kind of. I think NQ is. I would like NQ to stay down here because it's already showing me what I'm looking to short on ES. Do you see here on the daily? Yeah, NQ challenged these old highs and got rejected. And if we can stay down here now on NQ and then potentially try and short ES up around its old highs, you know, then we might have a pretty good play there. So we'll see. Or NQ is going to stabilize and then rocket higher, which that's all going to depend on bond yields in the dollar. So we'll keep an eye on these things. We'll take a look at the Russell, but you know, the Russell, it just tends to piss me off. So but here you can see the Russell. Yeah, I mean, look, if the Russell and the Dow start to drive higher, which they are right now, then this could be a sign. It could be the tail wagging the dog that bonds are going to rally today and yields are going to come down. And if that's the case, then we'll, you know, we might flip and start going long. But that scenario has not been proven yet. But it is the potential scenario number 2. But it all depends on the 10-year holding under 111. So, well, not really 111. I mean, you got a lot of resistance. My God. Guys, if we get a spike on the 10-year up, like up into 111.6 into the daily near high right here, 111.10, that would be a great. So we might be getting a good short on bonds. Take a look at the 30-year. I think the 10-year is going to be closer to the daily near high. I mean, ultras right here, you're at, I think I would probably prefer the 10-year just because it's, let's take a look at, the platinum still 908.5. The bonds are, you know, so here's gold. See, this is what the reason I didn't want to short gold, even though we had some evidence to maybe short it. We're kind of in no man's land. That's why I didn't want to short gold. So let's look at silver. So it's all going to depend, you know, see right now it's because the euro is back to 107.57, right? And that key level we know for the euro is 107.64 for today based on OMA. So that's going to determine the trajectory. The dollar against the euro and the 10-year is going to determine if these current pops on metals are going to get sold into. And we've got 15 minutes to decide because it's looking like we're going to take something. So try to take that platinum short. Definitely patiently waited for that and nailed the idea. Just, you know, didn't get filled on the short earlier. It was a pretty close call. That's fine. Yeah, so now you can see ES is definitely driving 49.77, but NASDAQ is not following yet. Let's look. 10 years at still just shy of 111. I like the 10-year up into 111.6. Look at the dollar. So it's really, I mean, here's the euro futures. We have to ask ourselves, see, this is how we use OMA to also see what we've got on the intermarket correlation. So the hourly chart here, right? This is the hourly bar chart, guys. We've got the congestion support level here, congestion resistance level here. Are we going to continue to cycle here? If that's the case, then as this pushes higher this hour, well, it could push back down here next hour, which means the dollar would get strong again. Bonds would probably get sold, yields go up, and that would validate shorting ES into that exhaust or shorting bonds. If I have a choice between shorting bonds and the ES, obviously I'm going to short bonds because they're just a way better market. But this is influencing the decision. See? So go ahead and look at yes. Oh, we're getting up platinum. That's nice. Look over there in a sec. Yeah, see, NQ is not buying it at all yet. Doesn't mean it won't, but we got NQ dumping so far, which means ES could be setting up a good short up in there. But we're going to have to pick. Look at the UB. Platinum's back to 910 now. Yeah, so here's UB. I mean, he's going to have a lot of resistance there at 127.4. $07.58. Gold is not really giving us anything. Silver. Silver's trying to set up a short up here as well. I mean, certainly silver, you know, silver looks extremely weak on the weekly chart and the daily, which I like. I mean, they all do. There's platinum. I'm not doing anything on platinum right now, you guys, because I want to see. I still might short it, but then I got to pick which one I'm going to manage. Steve will probably get short platinum, and the day's over, he'll be like, oh, you didn't short that? I did. I made money. Good job, Steve. Killing it, Steve. I love it. Yeah, you still got a lot of resistance there. Platinum. 911.8 is kind of the area I was watching. So the big question is shorting silver. Platinum trend. Bonds. NASDAQ is really dropping with ES trying to push higher. So load the ES here. You can see the ES. Yeah, I didn't quite make it. I think ES is heading down. Look at the NASDAQ, you guys. I don't think the NASDAQ's recovering from that. I don't like to trade the divergencies in the indices, but this is looking like ES is going to catch down for sure. So yeah. ES probably heading all the way back down there. So let's look. I think if indices are heading down, that's a good sign. You know, bonds, ultra bond here could be a potential short up in here. Trying to get my top pick for the hour because it's looking like definitely going to take something. Silver is already trying to sell off a little. Platinum, oh, it's at 909 now. We saw it kind of pushing. I think it might have gone back up to 910. Sort of like the bonds better. Look at that. So ES is back to 49.70. Here's the 10-year. You just gotta have to be careful. If you guys wonder why I'm being hesitant, look, because I like what could be setting up for a short here on bonds, but see, it's going to impact all the other markets, right? What bonds do right now is going to impact what happens in the dollar, what happens in metals. So all these trades are heavily correlated. So the reason I'm just kind of waiting is because you see here on this drop here on the bonds the last 2 days, this was, you know, significant outlier. And when that happens, you got to be careful to start shorting, because we may see a, you know, we've had a huge 2-day move down. We may see a bigger relief rally than we think, right? That's why I'm thinking through this. And if we do see a relief rally in bonds right now, then we're going to see, you know, a floor put under the metals temporarily. And also stock indices will just be super choppy. So this is why we're being careful right now. And I said this is the level we have to watch to start the day, this daily support level on bonds. And this is the first line of resistance. But, you know, we've had such a big drop. But we did, again, didn't get a lot of volume here, which means this is less likely to push. It'd be more likely to push higher if you had, you know, a big volume increase there. We didn't. So it could be a decent short setting up on ultras. The thing about ultras too is like we can, if I like it, we can try it. And if it doesn't immediately start dropping, just we're out. Let's see how we feel about that. So let's look at ES. Got 6 minutes to go. I don't check the calendar. We don't have anything major. We've got some economic optimism index coming out. It's a medium level announcement. And nothing else. Based on what NQ is doing, I would expect ES to pick up this resistance level and head back down here. The indices are just tough right now, so I'm just careful with the NASDAQ. A lot depends too. Is the NASDAQ going to suck back up? I don't think so. Now let's get back to the 10-year. Going to be decision time soon. It's like when I was little watching the LA Lakers at the Los Angeles Forum. That's how old I am. They used to play at the LA Forum in Inglewood before they moved to the Staples Center. The announcer, it'd be like the fourth quarter, you know, tie game. And the announcer would say, "It's nervous time at the Forum." So it's nervous time here heading into the 10 o'clock close. See what we want to do. Cycling through here again. Again. Dollar is 07.59. I'm gonna have to short one of these. Question of which. They all have pros and cons. Let's look at it. Silver is a beast, but when you get it right, it's nice. Oh, did you short? You shorted. Oh yeah, you shorted. So what? You just took a break even on the 10-year, Steve? Yeah, I'm trying to get a lay of the land here. This is, yeah, now ES is dropping 49.67. Ultra bonds. I mean, I really liked that 127 area to start the day. I mean, the ultra bonds could be a pretty low risk shot up here potentially. If we get taken out, we get taken out. Just got to be careful coming out of all this. Kind of like Something like this, you see, where you get that big drop. You got to be careful. But a lot of resistance up here. Volume profile, it's not really looking great until 128. But we'll see. At 2 minutes, it's the 10-year. I mean, the 10 years, I'm liking better up here. If we can spike up to 111.6, that would be a pretty good exhaust. Yeah, exactly. I think today, Steve, is a good day. You know, these markets we're still waiting. It's a good caution day. That's why I'm being so careful. So silver at 42 is not bad. Ultra bonds. I mean, we got a lot of resistance up there at 127.5. Platinum still at 909. I think the indices are dropping. Look at ES. Well, we only have 30 seconds to go, so we'll see. Man, that is a wild. That's what I said. It's going to be wild today. Be careful. Keep an eye on UB here. Yeah, I don't think ES is a bad short, Steve. If you feel it, go for it. I'm going to wait. I'm still probably going to take something here, but I want to see. We had that medium news announcement coming out, the economic optimism. Because if bonds start pushing higher here, I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm just not getting a clear read on bonds, and they're kind of influencing. Because if they start to push higher, it could put a little bit of a floor under the indices, and I think the indices are going to be choppy. But you know, you're good, Steve. You're usually good at jumping in and getting a few points here and there. Just cycle through again. See, what I do, guys, like when I'm streaming, I have to say, like, I want to find a trade for you guys. Whereas when it's just me doing my own trading, every hour I just cycle through, and I'm like, if I don't see anything I absolutely love, I just go away, come back, and usually once a day there's something I really like, and that's what I take, once or twice a day. So I just got to remember that when I'm streaming, just not to put pressure on myself. Because the quality of the stream is dependent on the quality of the trades. And the quality of the trades is very, very good when I exercise patience and stick to my plan. So yeah, I think ES is kind of what I was looking for. I was just looking for it higher up. Didn't really get outside the high there. Probably a lot of resistance now. I don't know. I think it's going to be choppy. You guys should be careful on the indices, because what I'm seeing now across the board is just, it's not clear right now. And if it's not clear, it's best just to, maybe in 20 minutes or half hour, an hour, it will be clear. But let's just wait for it to get clear. We can wait together. We can sing Kumbaya. We can sing Puff the Magic Dragon, like that song. Even though I don't puff the Magic Dragon, for all of you wondering. I have tried to puff the Magic Dragon, but I'm not a Magic Dragon puffer. That is grass, for those of you wondering. I'm not against it, just not really my thing. I'm more of like, I want to drink coffee and focus and trade. I don't want to be like, high on a couch eating potato chips. But if that's your thing, fully in support of that. All right, so NASDAQ, big move down. I still think you got to be careful. We'll see. If the party's going to get started to the downside, I mean, if it's really going to get started one of these days, and it might be today, we're going to see a crack. And if it's today, you could crack down here to 17.4. That's a lot of real estate to cover. So if we just keep our powder dry and make good decisions waiting for the setups, you know, we'll be able to play in the party when it gets started. Because lately the NASDAQ, every time you think the party started to the downside, which I haven't gotten sucked into yet because I've been waiting, but it'll spike down and then gets popped back up. And then, you know, in fact, later in the day, I usually been making money on the NASDAQ on the long side. But we could be breaking down here, which would be fantastic. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's look at the 10-year. You're short ES 49.67, Steve. Nice. Look at that, guys. Steve is the man. Steve, I got to get you one of my accounts because I'm so busy doing this. 10-year. A lot of resistance there on the 10-year. Ultra bonds too. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of resistance there for sure. I think the ultra bond's not looking too bad now. Up into our initial reaction is pretty good. Try and get short 30 on the ultra bonds. Platinum 907. I mean, 127 was my level coming into the day for the ultra bonds. I mean, it may want to jack up to 4. I mean, I'm moving it to 4 because we've got the daily level up there. I'd like to see it kind of fish a little higher than get shut down. Look at gold. We'll leave that ultra bonds there at 4 for now. Gold's still kind of in no man's land. Look at silver. Look at silver, just choppy and shitty today. What we saw yesterday during New York, like the last several sessions. I mean, yesterday with New York here, silver was just choppy and shit. I mean, yeah, I don't think ES is a bad short up there. Well, you already shorted, so that's great, Steve. Just canceling that UB. I want to see what's on the menu. I think you're short there. Where'd you short? 67 on ES. I think that's a good. There's ES. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, you got a lot of support here. You'll see. Maybe you'll catch a runner, Steve. I hope you do. My star student. Or would you like to be called pupil, Steve? I don't know. What's better? Just kidding. Oh, God, I love having fun. Just head down from here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's definitely looking weak, so I think you put yourself in a great spot for that entry. It was nice. Yours truly missed it again because I'm just too busy giving you the analysis. But soon, if it keeps going like this, Steve, if you keep trading my analysis like this, I'm seriously just going to give you all my accounts and I'll just do what I do, cycle through the charts, analyze. You just put on all the trades because it's a lot easier to, you know, do one thing and, you know, one guy does one thing, one guy does the other thing. It doesn't need to be the Andy show. It can be the Steve and Andy show. I'm all good with that. No egos here. Let's just make a lot of money. What we want. You can always call me Maestro. The good news is, you know, you keep calling my picks like this, I'll restart the hedge fund I had a long time ago. It wasn't a big one, but you know, I had 20 million under management and did pretty well for a while. So I returned the money to the clients because I didn't want to do it anymore. But if you keep trading my calls like this, I might want to do it again. And I'll go raise another 20 mil for us. I'm actually serious. Look at this fucking guy on YouTube. Like, yeah, YouTube's awesome. People are like, oh, if you're on YouTube, you suck. I'm like, what are you talking about? YouTube is awesome. Like, it's so cool that you can just be in your house anywhere around the world and like do this. I think it's so much fun. I actually analyze very well when I'm under the microscope with you guys because it just keeps me focused. You know, when you're by yourself, there are advantages to trading by yourself, but you also can get a little bit like, you know, a little more loosey-goosey. Yeah, well, keep the track record going. So far, you're killing it, and I'm all about it, my friend. Because you are trading my calls very, very well. Yeah, you got bonds. Keep an eye on your short there, Steve. You know, you're at support on the ES. You do expect stocks to be choppy today, and you can see the 10-year and the ultra. The reason I pulled my order to short the ultra as well is I just have a feeling this drop in bonds and the spike in yields is a little overdone. We might get a little bit of a relief rally today, and that would put a floor potentially under stocks. So just keep that in mind on your ES short. Because you're here on ES, you are time to take some nose spray again. Guys, I think the good news is I might be getting over the COVID here now. Be sweet. So you are at some support here, you know, and if the 10-year continues to push higher, I don't know. Might not be a bad spot to take a little profit. Of course, it could keep dropping, but I don't know. You'll figure it out. Look at what the Nasdaq's doing. Nasdaq's looking pretty weak, so that's, you know, good for the ES short for now. The Dow and the Russell, I mean, yeah, the Dow, they're in different worlds right now. The indices. Let's look at the 10-year. Yeah, I just think it looks, you know, because the 10-year had a close above the true average. I think the 10-year wants to push up to the daily near high at least. I don't know. Let's see. That's what I think. And if that happens, I mean, stocks still have a long ways to catch down, even if bonds do a relief rally today, but still nothing's jumping out at me just yet. Look at gold. Yeah, you see gold is rallying a little back to its near high, so that's a sign that the 10-year might want to follow. This is why I'm waiting patiently to short the metals. I'm not aggressively jumping all over these. We're definitely, guys, we're in the energy for the weekly and the daily is down, right? So it's just a matter of shorting metals and bonds. You got to try and wait for the right spot, right? That's what I'm trying to do. Because if we get a big, for example, you just never know. But if silver was to give us a good spike up near its daily near high up in here, I mean, these are the shorts we want. Now, we don't know if that's going to happen, but we can certainly, try and use our best judgment. You see, copper here is getting a little bit of a relief rally thanks to ES. So you got ES rallying, copper rallying, bonds look like they want to push higher, rates coming down. I don't know. I don't know if that support is going to break down on ES. Oh no. Nice message from mom. She asks how I'm feeling. Better. Gotta get out there and visit my parents. Some golf and get some sun and lay up by the pool instead of this horrible Swedish winter. Guys, don't ever come to Sweden between like November and March, not even April, like May to September, maybe. All right, let's look at platinum. Platinum is still, yeah, oh yeah. You see, now I no longer want to short platinum, guys, and when you study OMA, you know why. This says do not short me. I'm not going long because I'm just, you know, these might just explode to the upside. I'm just the kind of trader, and maybe I'll get better at this over time, but like, I just like to trade with the weekly and the daily energy. I just find the highest probability setups. I'm a very consistent trader, low draws doing that. And I'd probably make more money, like aggressively short, getting involved in these sort of like micro structures, but I just, it's not my personality. My mentor, on the other hand, he was amazing. He could be shorting like the 5 minute while he's long the 15 minute, but then he's shorting the hourly. Like he could separate and compartmentalize his brain and just do. I can't. You know, I'm like, all right, I know I want to short. I wait. I pick my spot, and it works. And but it's not sexy, that's for sure. Let's look at crude. We got the dollar rallying. You're up almost 10 points on that ES trade, Steve. Be interesting to see how that shakes out. You got a lot of support down into 72 today on crude. So if you see one of those flushes, I could potentially be interested in a long crude down there later. This is why I think the indices are going to find some support. I don't know. Maybe they'll buck the trend today. They've been acting weird. But look at the euro now, starting to claw some back against the dollar. So if we start to head higher here with the euro, if bonds start to push higher, rates are coming down, dollar's getting weaker, you know, stocks are going to go. So just be aware of that. All right, let's look at back at the ES. I'm at least having more fun today. I'm in a much better mood. Yeah. You're about to find out here on ES, Steve. You're attacking these lows. I mean, the ultra bonds are. Yeah, we'll see. You got a lot of support there. Check out NQ. Blow my nose, guys. One second. Use the loo, you guys. Gotta use the loo. Gotta take a wee wee. I'll be right back. My attempt at a British accent. Give me 5 minutes, guys. This day is far from over. I take some good trade. Just waiting for it to set up. Take 5. Steve, I'll put ES up for you so you can monitor your trade. But as I told you, there's a lot of support down there, if you know what I mean. Especially with what bonds are doing. I think that might be a spot to get. You do what you want, my friend. I'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back. Here's we have found some support there. And the bonds, guys, I think we're doing good exercising caution today. The bonds are pushing now up through 127 solidly. So far no trades for me, but you know, not stepping in a whole lot of excrement, which is always goal number one. Don't step in the shit, keep your powder dry. Wins come when they come. We are dealing with some challenging markets right now, you guys. Just be aware of the fact that the indices are probably in the process of topping out. Bonds still have a long way to go to the downside. Yields are probably going to rise further. We do have some type of liquidity event on the horizon. Let's see what Steve said. Close at 61. Yeah, that's a good call. Would you make 6 points? That's fine. Yeah, if we get into the 49.70s, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to really depend on what bonds and the dollar are doing. But there's just, it's really, I'm exercising a lot of caution right now because I have COVID and also because the markets are just not, they're not giving a whole lot, right? I see more opportunity, more likelihood of losing money that you then have to make back rather than waiting for really good opportunities. That's why I'm being super selective. That platinum short, you know, I kind of wish I would have gotten filled on that on the first part of it, but now it's no longer valid. But that's all neither here nor there. That's in the past. You got a good trade there on the ES, Steve. You did great. You made 6 points. Yeah, and you could see with the 10-year treasury, but now ES is trying to drop, you know? So see, it's just kind of, we'll see what happens. I called for choppiness yesterday, choppiness today on the indices, and I think that's what we're going to see. That's what we're seeing so far. Let's look at NQ. I'm not opposed to longing or shorting. It just has to be, I mean, NQ's certainly shit in the bed here. So let's see if NQ is finally going to start responding to higher rates. We haven't seen a good, you know, a nice lasting 2-day trend run. You know, well, we had a drop here, but this, if I recall, that still wasn't. Let's see, this could be some good, set up some good opportunities for us. Let's look at the Dow. It looked like, this is what's so weird. It's like the Russell. Now, yeah, regardless of what happens with, here's the Russell. With the ES, even if it drops, Steve, I still think you made a good call booking some profits at that support level with what we're seeing in bonds. Yeah, exactly. We're back at support there. I can see that. I think, see, this is where the 10-year, I think you got some good resistance here at 111.9. So I'm going to be looking, I might short the 10-year here. I don't know if I'll do it right now. I might wait, but that's, I think it could be good enough, especially for a little bit of a move back down. Let's look at right there at that 111.9, 111.10. You got a lot of resistance up there. Let's look at the 30-year. 30-year and ultra bonds as well. Oh yeah, I mean, if we get a 2-bar push here on the ultra bonds up into 120, up in here somewhere, it'd be fantastic. So the 10-year, I'm going to keep an eye on for this 111.09 level. If anything, I think we should at least get a little bit of a reaction off of that level. Keep an eye on that level. Look at gold. And gold is going to set up. Oh, guys, this is what we want. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something. Now, let's look at Bitcoin from the other day. This is what I was showing you, and this is what I'm going to show you with regard to gold right now. You guys see Bitcoin here, right? You see this? Up, 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 and then and then, right, and you see this OMA red line. Now, if we turn our attention back to gold, you see, up, up, up. Now, if we can just get up here, that's what I'd be looking for on gold for sure, up into 2056, 2057. So let's keep an eye on that. See, just never know when the good ones are going to set up. Silver. Silver's not quite as high as I would like. I think gold, I mean, I don't trade gold that often, but if it punches up there, I'm going to have to get short. Yeah, here's copper now dropping with the indices. That makes sense. But you see, ES is still 49.60. It's not, you know, we'll see if we break through there. Platinum could set up a short up here. But it would have to, I would want it to push up here a little more. All right, so I'm definitely, as long as you guys see the euro here, as long as the euro and the dollar kind of stay in this range, if the 10-year, I think, is potentially setting up some great resistance into 111.9. And if that's the case, I might either short the 10-year or, I mean, gold is a bit more risky. It's a bigger contract, but if we get a spike up here on gold and I have the opportunity to short it, you know, let's go back in, because these scenario analysis is very important. So we go back to Bitcoin. So is this what you can do too, Steve, with all the stuff you're learning in the course, the different setups? Put together your favorite combinations. You can use mine, of course, that I give you, but put together your favorite combinations and then go back and look at identical situations across many different asset classes. I call that scenario analysis. And you can start to make a library, a picture library of when that exact pattern, you know, with, you know, where all the different indicators are at that exact moment, and just look at many different examples. And then you start to be able to build your trading plan around that, you know, pattern library. So here you can see with Bitcoin, right? You see how it's spiked up there to the extension and then closed off the high and then just opened and went. So that'd be the kind of situation with gold where I'd have to decide if I wanted to try and get short before the hourly close at the extension and then stop it behind the high, or wait for the close. If you get a close like that, just short market, you know, with the stop above the high. That's your risk. And if you're right, you could get something like that, right? So with gold right now, and guys, if you want to learn this, go to the website and go get, you can sign up and get the first 7 lessons. You'll see I start to go into all of this in those first 7 lessons. And then the rest of the course is 25 lessons. And I don't know, how many times have you gone through it, Steve? You're like on your 5th time? Because you're just always going to learn more, because there's just so many little things, you know, that I talk about. So here's with gold. I think that 2056.3, 2056.4, we're able to get short there. You got to move back down to 2046, you know, like kind of a big exhaust here. Get short and then get the reversal back down. That's kind of the move I'd be looking for. Then I'd be happy on those challenge accounts, you know, to make whatever, $1,000 across each of them. Those are the trades I'm waiting for. I don't think you need to make, you know, hundreds of trades to pass the challenge. I think you just wait for the best ones. And if it's wrong, you know, you lose $200-300, $300, whatever. But when you're right and you're making 1,000, those are the trades I'm waiting for. And that's typically how I trade my own money as well. I'm just waiting for setups I like a lot, because it's just, you know, remember that whatever money you lose, you got to make back. Like, let's say you got, 50 grand and you go down, you go in the whole 25 grand. Well, now you got to make, 200% to get that money back. It's a lot harder to get it back once you lost it. So just be smart with your money, be smart with your trading. Let's see, we're back. Oh, MGC, right. The micro contract for gold. That's kind of for wussies though, isn't it? Just kidding. Yeah, no, you're right. I should use the micro contract. Yeah, it's with these challenges, it's not a bad idea to use, the micros. You have a lot more control over your risk for sure. I'll probably use the full contract, but just because I'm going to try and pick off such a key level. But yeah, I don't think the micros are a bad idea at all. The commission's kind of, that's the only bummer, but if you're not taking that many trades, it's not the end of the world, but it's just a bummer, if you put on 5 micros, right? Now that's a pretty decent little hit on commissions. And those add up over time. Yeah, see ES back to 49.63. That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be range bound and crappy. I don't think you want to be betting on a breakout to the downside today for ES. Not yet. That's not what it's looking like yet. It might happen later, but not right now with what we're seeing in bonds. $07.61. Yeah. So gold, I mean, even just on the challenge account, just see what happens. But even if you get short at 56.4 and then it settles, back down here to 53.4, still even $300 is not bad. But I would hold that and try and get a decent winner. Or cut it and set the, because these trailing draws, right? So like maybe get out and then try and reshort higher, but then you might not get filled. All the fun things about the challenges that you don't have to worry about in real life, but it's fun for now. Okay, so let's look at the silver's 2250. Yeah, so silver as well. I mean, if we get a punch on silver, I mean, the weekly on silver looks very nice and weak. So if silver gives us a punch up here to 2256-ish, would be a good short up there on silver. Copper, ignore that for now. Here's platinum back to 911.7. Platinum's probably not a bad short up there somewhere, but I think if I have to choose now between gold and platinum, I mean, definitely gold is looking better. There's that overextension. Let's keep an eye on gold together. We're waiting for that, whatever that level I said was, 254.5. Was that what it was? Let's look. No, it's 256. 256.4 is what I'm looking for in gold. I'm interested in 111.09 on the 10-year treasury. Check back in with ES. This is awesome. We got six viewers and 6 likes. I mean, thanks you guys. That means a lot. And it's like we don't have a lot of viewers, but that's because people don't know how much ass we kick. They will find out eventually. And one step at a time. And we will get some flamingo dancers to dance behind me, like doing the kick up and stuff. So it can be a little entertaining while we're trading, while we're waiting for setups. Yeah, so here you got ES. Exactly. Now I'm trying to think through what's a good situation. If ES can rally a little bit, see, I think gold is a good short regardless, because if ES starts to really rally, that's risk on. Gold doesn't like that. And if ES doesn't rally and bonds start to drop again and yields go up, gold doesn't like that either. So I think gold's not going to like anything right now, unless I go short gold and the Houthis sink a destroyer in the Red Sea. That would not be good for my short gold position, but I guess that's the risk we have to take. And let's just pray that nothing crazy happens, not only because we don't want the loss of life, but we don't want the loss of our account either. All right, let's look at the NASDAQ while we drink some water. NASDAQ's just a mess. Back to the 10-year. Yeah, see, because we couldn't even get, this is kind of a good sign. The 10-year so far has not been able, I'd like it to stretch out up here though. Let's look back at the Ultra Bond. Could be a lot of, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, that's going to be my tough decision when the if the Ultra Bonds punch up here, you can pretty much bet the gold will punch up to our level as well. Which one would I want to short? That's a tough call, to be honest. Look at the volume profile composite over here, guys, on Ultra Bonds. You see right now, we are here. Need a sign. You are here. It's kind of a minor area of acceptance. But this overall area here is kind of like a trough, a low volume trough that is, you know, kind of lining up with our near high area here, which is lining up with this here. That's interesting. Now let's look at composite on gold. So with gold here, see the volume profile is kind of looking like this on gold. At 2057 area, you are starting to get, you know, kind of into this lower, getting just to the upper end of that value area here, basically. This value area, kind of in the upper end of it there. I don't really use this, you know, I'll take my trades regardless because OMA is, you know, superior in my view. But I still like to look at the volume profile and see where we're at. So I think I mean, the good news about bonds as opposed to gold is that if you look at the daily chart here with gold, you see how we're not, you know, we're still kind of in the daily congestion zone. And when we look at ultra bonds here, we are trending down nicely on the daily. So I like that, you know, if we were to get a spike on the ultra bonds, or we may see a divergence. I mean, if the ultra bonds sink back down and close below 127.4, that might be all she wrote on the ultra bonds, and we roll over. And then if that's the case, then gold is the better short higher up because it'll follow bonds down. Especially if the dollar can keep strong. Right now we're 0.760 against the futures on the euro. That's not, against the euro futures, that's not bad. All right, 1041 coming up on it here soon. Look at ES. I think this is fun. You know, I love going through all this stuff. And some people are like, oh, it's so boring to wait for trades. I mean, I think if you think it's boring waiting for trades, you're in the wrong business. I mean, if you go get a job at any office, it's going to be boring as fuck. And they're going to pay you like $4 or $5 grand a month, maybe. Right? Whereas here, like exciting, you get to plan your trades and just be patient and wait. And then, you know, if you do reasonably well, you're going to make way more than an office job, and you get to do it from home, and it's fun. So I don't know why people complain about like having patience with trading. They're like, I just can't wait for my trades. Why not? I get it. In the beginning, it just feels more like, I don't know, for some reason, because you can do it from home in your pajamas, it feels more like, well, obviously I'm just going to start making money. I'll just start clicking the button. Takes a while to figure out that you got to be patient. SI popped to 50, 52.5. Nice. Yeah, you love it, Steven. I do too. Well, that's why we make money at it, and I'm hoping more people will eventually catch on and join us. And our motto on YouTube can be, one of the only channels where we actually make money and manage our risk. Other channels are making money, but I don't see a lot of I don't see any consistency. I see some consistency. I don't see any replicatable processes. I just see one or two decent scalpers, but hard to teach that and copy it. That's why we're going to have our little YouTube channel group where we can help each other. All right, I can teach you guys, then you can keep an eye on the markets for all of us. We can keep an eye on the markets for each other. Okay, let's look. So for 10 a.m., sorry, 11 a.m., ES is just crap. I think putting in the support here, who knows, but I wouldn't be surprised to, see a move back up to top of the range here. I don't really know. I don't really care. Look at NASDAQ. Guys, if you live in a place where the sun is shining right now, you are lucky. Growing up in LA, I never realized how lucky I was until I spent my first few winters in Sweden. And I swear that this is going to be my last. I haven't been here for like the last 5 years. And then this winter, we just want to be near my wife's family. But man, I love her family, but I just can't take the weather here. It's horrible. One of these days when I have the energy, guys, I'll take the webcam and show you my view. I mean, it's nice. I look out at a street with some houses and the forest and stuff. It's not bad, but it's just dark and freezing, right? In the backyard is the forest. I mean, we're right in the city by the forest, so it's a really great area, but it's just the weather, man. It's like when it's dark like this, it's depressing. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, because I grew up in California, so I love the sun, but maybe not everybody loves the sun. All right, there's my tangent about the Swedish winter. Let's look at, so let's see. So we're going to put together the picture here. ES, I think, could be sucking back into the range. NQ, I mean, we're going to find out what it's doing. What's the Dow doing? Dow certainly looks like it has a healthy trend run to the upside here. So if the Dow keeps trending up, certainly, that would lend some credence to the fact that ES and NQ will probably stabilize. Let's look at the Russell. Yeah, the Russell responding positively to that relief in yields today so far. But I still think overall, I mean, I would love the Russell to spike up. We get a daily close up here. We're going to be setting up for good shorts tomorrow on the Russell. So we'll let the Russell do that. The Russell and Dow are trying to rally a bit. Looks like they'll continue. NASDAQ ES probably going to stabilize a little bit is what it looks like. Now, bonds, because we want to know what are the indices telling us? What are bonds telling us? See, this is the 10-year Treasury note. I mean, right now you're kind of starting to trend up. Now, sure, if we push higher and exhaust up here, that would be an overextension that I would be interested in shorting for a reversal back down. But if we close right here, then we're trending up. We might be setting up for, the next leg, breakout here, consolidation, push. And if that could happen, and if that happens, that means yields coming down, stocks like that. That could be why the Russell, which is yield sensitive, and the Dow are pushing higher. I'm just trying to put together this picture right now. Let's look at the 30-year. Yeah, so 30-year. I still like definitely shorting up here if we can get a pop and an overextension. Ultra bonds up in here somewhere is where I'm interested. Look at gold. We know we like gold potentially up into, gold's going for it. That might be the one I just have to. And if this is just one of those days where gold is just going to go into a monster $100 an ounce trend run, guess what are you going to do, But I'm keeping a very close eye on this. Will I short? I set an order there, maybe. But then you just know, like, that's where it needs to hold. The risk on the trade is low. Like, if I lose $2 an ounce. It's not the end of the world, right? So keep an eye on gold. Look at silver. I mean, silver's nice too. I mean, gold is at least, silver is much weaker overall, but gold is more into its resistance zone. We'll keep an eye, because these markets are going to tell us as well. Like, if silver closes super strong up here and breaks these resistance levels, you know, do I want to be shorting gold when silver is breaking and looking like it wants to go higher? Probably not. So this is why it's really good to look at all these together, still using all the OMA, you know, information, but just it's like the Hunger Games, stacking the odds forever in your favor. There's copper. Platinum. See, platinum's still hanging out at 911 key level there. ZN is at 06. Yeah, I think ZN at 09 is the thing I like about ZN, for those of you out there, the 10-year treasury, is that you don't really get run over by ZN. It's kind of nice. You can put on the trade, and if it starts to work, it'll go slow, but it's working. If it kind of sits there and goes against you by a couple ticks, you don't really lose much. You know, it doesn't just blow through you, which is kind of nice. I mean, I like the 10-year treasury a lot. I mean, ultra bonds are a little more crazy, but. So here's platinum. Let's look at, so the dollar, the good news is I'm not seeing a crazy move up in the euro yet, but that doesn't mean that won't happen. Because we'd be in trouble if we shorted, you see the euro here, if we shorted gold and the euro blasted out of this congestion range and makes a run for 108, which it could, back up in here. If that happens and we're short gold or silver, you know, we're in deep doo-doo land. So I'm trying to avoid that. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm always looking. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, this is how I've been around for so long, not on YouTube, but in trading, is that I'm always looking at it as, where's the risk? Where's the risk? Where's the risk? And a trade where I really can't find any, well, yeah, there's risk in every trade, but where I find the least amount of risk, I'm like, okay, that's the one I'll take. And some weeks there are lots of those, and some weeks there aren't. And that's just the way it goes. Let's look. Let's look at the pound. The pound is trending up pretty solidly. So is the pound leading the euro higher? Maybe. Bitcoin. Bitcoin looking like, this is good news about this is that if it was like risk on, you know, if money was piling into stocks and the euro was getting stronger and bonds were getting stronger, gold could still, you know, could maybe dump in an environment like that, just because everybody would be like, no, they're buying stocks and bonds. So I got to think about that. I'm going to go more on the pattern for gold, I think. Here's Bitcoin. Be given a little bit of an exhaust up there. Here's Ethereum. All right, let's go back to, let's look at ultra bonds. I'd love ultra bonds up in here. I feel more comfortable up there. You have a nice, you know, kind of lower volume area there. Gold I still really like. Man, gold is just can be so dangerous, but I think I don't know how I can pass up on this. I don't know. See, I think gold's the one I'm most interested in. 10-year, I'm definitely, if we could get a move on the 10-year up to 9, I'd like to see bonds a little stretched out so that they could drop and yields could rise while I'm short gold. Let's see. We got a lot of resistance up here on gold. I think I'm gonna just probably have to take a shot here on gold. Just hope it's not a monster rally on gold today. Am I missing something on the news? Let's check. Don't have any fresh wars on it, do we? On the docket? Oh, I see. New York Community Bank Corp collapse, 27-year lows. So this could be like a flight to safety. I think I'm still gonna have to probably. Given a choice, there's silver. Could be that. Cycling through. Hey guys, this is the thing too, like you'll just know, like look at this right now. Look at the market. I mean, just tail here, tail here. Man. Momentum traders are not having fun today, huh? It's also good, you know, when you realize you're in the flow, everything, because there are days they come when everything just makes sense. And there are days like today where you like to mentally struggle. Like, what the hell is going on today? So, I still like. I think there's a lot of resistance up here on the 10-year. This is probably the quote-unquote safest trade if the 10-year was to pop and give us an opportunity to get short, you know, at like 111.9. And that might be the smart play today, just to not take too much risk. Gold is more risk, more potential reward. Let's look at the 30-year. Because we want to short either gold up into that 20, what do we say, 2055 level-ish. But I'd like to see bonds. Here's the 30-year. I want it to get a little more extended. I'd like to short the ultra bonds up here into that 127.22 level. And then with silver as well, we've got a good short on the docket potentially here at 22.56. So a lot on the menu right now. Platinum as well. And you got a lot of resistance here on platinum. The key is going to be the dollar for these metals. Bonds won't be as dependent. The thing about metals, if you start shorting metals and the euro pops here against the dollar, you know, that's not going to be good for your metals short. Whereas bonds can sometimes still, you know, drop as the dollar is rising. So it's a little bit of a less correlated trade. Sometimes it's smarter to take. So I think what I'm kind of leaning toward right now is if the bonds can get up there, I might short the bonds. Gold here, this is the one, man, I'm really interested in gold at 2056. But then again, if gold closes here, it's kind of like bonds. It's not really getting to our level, right? And you wonder, Andy, well, why would you like it at 2056, but you don't like it at 2052? It's because I want an exhaust. I want, you know, a big bar like we saw when I showed you that Bitcoin example. I want, when you get that exhaust like that, you get a lot of people, you know, chasing. And then that's when it's got the fuel. As it starts to reverse, all those people who chased because it's overextended, they've got to then bail on their positions. That accelerates the move to the downside. If you don't have the overextension, you're not as likely to get the big reversal back to the other side. So that's why I'm, you know, I'm waiting. I want it up here instead. And it's the same if you look at bonds, which are heavily correlated. Let's look at the ultra bond. Right now they're correlated. See, bonds, they're much better short up here, way out overextended. Right? We don't have that right now on bonds yet. So this could be telling me we have a little further to go before we set up the short on bonds and a potential short on gold. Silver, you know, is not bad for a short. You've got a lot of resistance here for sure. But it's kind of in no man's land like gold was. You see, remember guys, when we looked at gold? Remember in here, I said, it's kind of in no man's land. It's kind of where silver is now. I say, well, why don't we go long? Yeah, maybe. Oh, well, I mean, I'm not going to go long silver. I still like the short there, but I don't like it because we're more in, but you do have a different price structure on silver. Tempting. What's ZN at 5.5? What do you like, Steve? Here's ZN. I think I do like, as the safety trade, ZN is the one where we are at least. You know, gold didn't pop up there. Silver, I don't mind, but it's kind of in no man's land. ZN's not bad. I wish it would have just got a little higher. But we could, you know, still potentially short up in there. Let's just cycle through now that they closed. Sometimes you'll see something after it closes. A little kid walking, looking at me. Really sweet. Let's look at, so ES, look, this is just garbage. We get NQ. No idea what to make of NQ. That's the thing. You're gonna get the best trading on these markets when they're all in sync. Like sometimes you can get a good read on what bonds are gonna do based on what stocks are gonna do, based on, you know, what the metals with it. So that's why on the days like today, basically this kind of yesterday as well, it's like it's just there's not a lot of cohesion, which is why there's just not a lot of trades. Not for me, anyways. Russell. Ultras. Yeah, NQ, ES are flat. Exactly. I think so too, Steve. Yeah, and I could see evidence, you know, UB could want to squeeze. We could just be setting up a really nice exhaust up in here later. So I'm going to stay patient. I don't think we're done. You see, that's the thing too. We that gold is, I like it. I just want it to be more overextended. It's silver. Not bad there on silver. But I got to trust my instincts here. And platinum is not a horrible short right there. But you see, we went back to our 912 level. At least platinum is in your resistance area. I don't dislike platinum totally. What do you feel about platinum there, Steve? I don't dislike it. We're just dumping. Yeah, I kind of feel that as well. I don't. That's the reason I'm holding off shorting the metals right now, is because bonds to me look like they just want to push a little higher, and if they push higher, then you're shorting metals, you know, against a headwind. You don't want to do that, right? We want to take the trade with the tailwind. So I think it's better just to maintain a little bit of patience here and let the trade set up later in the day, because now I feel, you know, dialed in terms of what I'm expecting. Now it's just waiting for it to set up. And like I said, it doesn't always set up when we're here on YouTube, unfortunately, but you know, sometimes it does. Platinum, I think, you know, you got a lot of resistance there on platinum. Platinum done topping out there. Platinum's not terrible there. Oh, nice. Yeah, crude is a little wild right now. Copper. Let's look at and yep, just watching paint dry. We're not really getting any directional clues here from indices at all, although Dow and Russell are trying to I think Dow and Russell are kind of tipping us off. For now, that they're pushing higher. I do think that bonds are going to push a little higher. We'll see, but it just looks like that to me. And this could also be setting up one of these things too, where it's, remember this, we had this trade, was it last week at some time, Steve? I can't remember, but kind of like this, where at this point in the day, you know, if equities keep heading higher, and let's say the 10-year pulls back, it might actually be setting up a long to ride bonds higher the rest of the day. That happened. I'll show you guys. I guess it was like a week ago. I can't really remember. It was probably a week ago. It was a similar situation. So even at this point, if bonds give a pullback, I might go long at some point, especially if equities start to push higher. I think something like platinum's just going to be range bound here. I don't think it was a bad trade. Well, I need, like, we got to have different people on different accounts, Steve, so I can be like, all right, keep your eye on platinum. You know, if we get back up to this level and we hold there on close, short it. But then I get over here and I look at platinum. I go, well, yeah, I'd like to be short from here, but I'm not. And I can't just leave my order there all day. Eventually we will have our group of people executing the trades. I mean, based on the Dow and the Russell, probably ES is going to cycle back up to the top of the range. Not really something I would trade because I'm super risk averse, but somebody like Steve might want to make money on it. Although if I was going to trade, and if you put a gun to my head and said, Andy, you have to take a trade right now, I'd probably like to be short platinum from right around here. Snap down here. So bonds could be pulling back now. I don't regret shorting them because I'm not really sure what they're going to do. Yeah, I could see that. ZN could be a long if it pulls back down into support. Platinum, you know, could be a short if bonds are going to drop. The thing is, I'm not really sure what bonds are going to do right now. That's what's going to determine this. So I think that's probably going to do it for me today, guys, because it's 11:08, and I'm going to continue to follow these, but I'll just I got to spend time with the family, and I don't want to really sit here and talk about it all hour. So I'm just going to check in and do my checks on the hour, and I will. Let's see. I'll try and leave you guys. Steve, you're an elite, so I'll be posting my updates there. But for those of you who are not an elite yet, because you haven't yet figured out that it's the place to be, I'll try and leave you with my best summary today. It looks to me like, let's go ahead and start with indices. For those of you who want to trade the indices, because I'll often, you know, I leave you guys with my summary, and you know, I'm still trading. Yesterday, I didn't take any trades in the stream, but I traded NQ and made some money because as the day developed, I started to see, you know, more clarity. So I think if you start to see indices push higher, and the euro starts to push a little higher against the dollar, then I think if bonds pull back, they could be a decent long, because you're seeing some buying step into the bond market here. So that, because the 10-year yield, here's the 10-year, you've just had this not record, but almost, you know, it's a big you know, outlier drop in the 10-year treasury, which means somebody's going to step in here and support this thing so it doesn't just go totally to shit. So we could see a pump back up to, you know, 111.16. So what I'm trying to say here is that it looks to me, I don't know for sure, obviously, but it looks to me like potentially for today, the low could be in for bonds. So if we were to get a move on the 10-year or the ultra bonds, you know, down into support, and stocks continued to head a little higher, and the dollar was, you know, stable against the euro, then I think buying the bonds could be the safest bet. Safe, guys, nothing safe. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for either a super overextension to get short up in here, but I think what's more likely is a pullback, and then I would get long to try and ride it up to where I think it's going. And that's dependent on equities as well. I think that's going to be the play for you today, and I will be posting this in Elite, and tomorrow I'll show you guys what I post in Elite so you can see it after the fact. But that's it. And if you guys go get the 7 lessons, if you want to see how some of this stuff works, just go to the O-Inks trading site. You check it out there. And other than that, I'll be back at 7:30 tomorrow. I got to say, I'm getting some energy back now, so maybe the COVID's turning the corner. That would be fucking amazing. It's been a hit to my pocketbook these last couple of weeks having COVID. I'm not able to watch the screens and make as much money as I usually can, but not losing money and still making a little bit. But I want to get back to my my winning ways, and can't do that without good health. So appreciate your health. Take care of yourself. That's what I even take care of myself, and I'm still paying the price. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the likes and all that good stuff. Yeah, take care, and bye-bye for now till tomorrow. See ya.